Send her the number, but let them know. We'll let them know when to call in because we're having a good conversation, and once it winds down, they can call in. And okay, so when you
Oh,
say he was pooping on Africa, what do you mean? Like he just dissing Africa at the
come
time?
on, man. Just go to his YouTube channel and just look at his videos. I don't gotta waste time with that. That'll be the easiest thing. You say you like receipts, just go to his YouTube channel
Yeah.
and just look at his videos. That's
Well,
the easiest
I
way for me to answer that.
I can guarantee you, I definitely watch more videos than you. And matter of fact, you had gave a
Uh-huh.
starting point. You gave a starting point. You said 2018. Like that's not good research because 2018, I believe he was definitely um, angry at the diaspora and the continent at that point, but more so the continent, but also the diaspora, but the continent. So 2018, I know exactly how he was feeling because it's documented. I watch his videos and I share them. So during
Mm-hmm.
2018, he was not dissing countries. He was dissing people in the country who he believed were coons and bedwenches. So he would diss certain people from Africa, certain individuals, not Africa itself, not nobody country. He'll diss the individual. Let's say if they were like crying over some white guy, or they were like promoting some white Jesus. Like he was on them for that. Or like they were bigging up their white husband because he's white. He's just so much better than black men. So I already know what he was on in 2018. That's what he was on. And he started to question 2018 was the first time he was questioning global empowerment. So he was preaching global empowerment, and then he started to question global empowerment because of different people from the diaspora and the continent. He believed they weren't on code, like they were like using white supremacist talking points, especially when they spoke about FBAs. Right, so that's what most of his content was in 2018. I know I clicked down to all those videos. Now, okay, good. Go up. Okay, so the old goon thing, right? The old goons pepper spray. Again, he was promoting that when he was all inclusive, when he was preaching black global empowerment, right? That's what you're gonna do. You're gonna promote something for everybody, right? Not just SBAs. Right? He promoted something for everybody at that time, and it was global empowerment. Okay, he even did a documentary for Haiti, so he was definitely team empowerment, but he started
Yeah.
to
Ahmad Arbery died in 2020, one or two or something like that, or 2020. What are you talking
okay.
about?
What about? I mean, you just said
He
something.
was
You didn't.
he was already he was already on his anti-African shit when he came out with that. And
Yeah, yeah.
that's
I don't
just
think
one
you're
of
all
the
right.
many ways. I just can't. You
All
just
right. So
asked
hold
me
on.
on the spot.
I
Okay.
got it. I understand. Like we're just freestyling. I get it. But I mentioned Ahmaud Arbery. I don't even know why you mentioned it. Like what you didn't even prove something. You just said a name and made you didn't really say much. But anyway.
All right. I gave you a whole roadmap on how to get a grifter. I'll say it again.
No, wait,
He
no.
has
Please,
been on
please,
a
please, wait, please. Whoa,
campaign.
wait, hey. No, no. I want to look. I want to have a conversation, a dialogue. If you're going to
All
talk
right.
against, say something new, please let's not talk in circles. All right. So I responded, right? I gave you a timeline, his mentality, and what he was doing, and he was becoming frustrated with the diaspora and the continent. That's all. Anybody can look through his videos starting from January all the way down.
All right. So why don't you enlighten me on something since you're more
Yeah.
knowledgeable?
Yeah.
Why? What is he frustrated off?
Okay. He's okay. Let me answer that real fast. He was frustrated with this all-inclusive ideology, this all-inclusive on code. He felt like the diaspora and the continent should have had more loyalty to black people and not their oppressors. And what he would say, white zaddy. So that was his main frustration. He felt like, which is true, right? Because those African countries and those African islands, right? they are the majority. Like they are all, pretty much dark. Jamaica's Jamaicans, and Haiti is Haitian. Like there's really no white oppressive class that's dominating. So white racism is something that we experience uniquely over here from other black people, and we kind of don't understand that. So we kind of pitch that on or paste that on other black people across the world unfairly, right? It's not until we actually get put on by somebody from the diaspora, the continent, was not until we look at it deeply and say, hey, yeah, our problem really ain't theirs. Like they don't deal with white supremacy in their land, just affecting them at all levels, right? So that's his fault. That's our fault. FB, it's our fault for believing we have a shared struggle. We got a common enemy, obviously, but we don't have a shared struggle. Okay, so that's what. So that was some of the frustration. Go ahead.
And I want you to be honest. You don't find it very funny that when Tariq was, very Pan-African, if you want to say that.
He was never Pan-Africanist. So I got to stop you there. Like he was never Pan-Africanist. But go ahead.
You ever watch Hidden Colors?
Yeah. I watched
you ever
all
watch
of them.
Hidden Colors 1? You ever watch Hidden Colors 1 and 2?
I'm gonna say, yeah, definitely. I watched those over. I watched all of them but the last. I didn't watch the last one with Polite. I didn't watch that one.
Put it like this. Hidden Colors is so fucking dude. It's so much pseudo we was kings African shit that I think if I was to tie Tariq to a chair and make him watch that shit, he'll fucking cry.
Wait. Hold on. But what's the argument? Wait, but hold on, brother. Listen, we got to stay focused.
My argument is this. Yeah. My argument is this. Those are two extremes. Those are two extremes. All right, hold on. From the man that made Hidden Colors.
Wait, just hold on. Hold on. Because you kind of confused me. You charged him with being a Pan-Africanist. I said, nah, that's not true. And then you went to Hidden Colors. So I'm thinking you're going to Hidden Colors as a reference point of how Pan-Africanist he was, right? But you didn't. You just said how you believe the information is it's
that's
pseudo.
Exactly what I just did, bro. What are you talking about? That's exactly what I did.
What did you do?
I said Hidden Colors 1 and 2. I said the rhetoric that Tariq puts out today, the man he is today, I feel if you were to tie him down to a chair and make him watch Hidden Colors 1 and 2, that will make him angry. That movie would have to anger him.
Why?
Huh?
Why?
Bro, Tariq shits on stuff that's not even half as uplifting to Africa as Hidden Colors.
Wait.
There's no way in hell he stands behind Hidden Colors today.
Okay, hold on, stop. Give me an example.
There's no way.
Listen. All right, hold on.
Way.
Brother, okay, you're just...
Bro, what you say? Give you an example.
Wait. I didn't even finish the thought. Damn, bro, relax. I hate when I do that, man. I'm talking to you like a grown man. We're having a conversation. You're making charges, many of them. I'm trying to slow you down to one of them. Come on, relax, man. So I'm saying, what in Hidden Colors 1 and 2 that you're implying that if he was to rewatch it, he would be like, being tortured? Give me an example of something, bro,
the entire movie, bro. The entire movie, bro. The entire movie.
Do you remember what the entire? Okay, which one? 1 or 2? Which one? 1 or 2?
I've seen a video. I've seen a cat on YouTube one time. His name was Taz something. His name was Taz something. He had a video. Was it him? I'm not. Matter of fact, his name is the person's name is irrelevant.
So you're gonna reference edited heavily? I mean, bro, we can't do that. All right, look.
So let's hold on. The person had a video. They said, "Yo, I'm gonna drink every time they say Africa in this movie," because it was a person that was criticizing the flip flop. I think the person's name was Taz, but that's irrelevant.
Yeah, I can make a video right now.
The flip flop.
Brother, I can make a video.
Said, yo, I would drink to every time he said Africa. And the dude had to stop.
Yeah, I
He's
don't.
like,
Well,
yo, I can't go no more.
hey,
I can't
hey,
go no more.
listen. Okay, hold on, brother. You're not being coherent. Like you're not standing on something. Hold on, just hold on. Again, see, we're at a place now. This is why I kind of ain't want to talk to Tariq because you guys be like, just we were having a good conversation. We were agreeing to disagree, right? It was no problem with that. Really respectfully and real politely. Okay, but we were taking turns talking. I kind of want to bring up Tariq for that reason. Like you guys got this. I don't know what's in it for you guys, but you guys got this thing for him, and I'm not gonna call it something. I'm gonna just say it like that. Just let me finish. You guys got this thing for him where the conversation is no longer a dialogue. It becomes a rant of how much you hate him and you don't like this. And then when I try to stop you one by one, each thing you don't like and hate, you guys don't let me do it. So you went from hidden colors, you went from brother, you went from charging him with things in hidden colors, 1 and 2, right? That you were saying, I guess he's anti those things now. So I was trying to get a picture because I remember 1, 2, and 3 like really well. So I was trying to get an example of something in Hidden Colors 1, 2, and 3 that he no longer believes and he speaks against. I thought you were going to go there. That's what I would have done as a journalist and a great researcher that I am. I would have said, hey, brother, and I know we're freestyling. I don't expect you to, we're freestyling. I don't expect you to like have it down packed. I'm sure next time we speak, you might, if you want to, you might go ahead and look into it a little deeper. And the next time, you could have the receipts ready. But I'm saying for right now, it's not fair for you to stand hard, 10 toes down on these charges, and you're not doing a good job of providing like some type of proof for the charges.
Okay.
So
let me rebuttal to that.
And wait, and then lastly, you mentioned a guy who made a video, a chopped up a video. Bro, I got a guy right now who chopped up my video, right, and had me agreeing to something I didn't agree to. It's like anybody can do that, bro.
It wasn't chopped, but
sure, every video is edited.
So would you disagree?
That's copyright infringement. They play straight up.
Here's a direct question to you.
Yeah.
Would you disagree that the theme of Hidden Colors 1 and 2 were that our position in America is not our origins? This is our origins, and this is how great we were. Would you disagree that that's not the theme of that movie? That's a yes or no question, because you want to keep things simple so we can keep it moving. So let's just keep it yes or no. That's yes or no question.
Okay, so well, your assessment, no. If I got to lean on your assessment, then it's no. Okay. Now let me explain where I think he was going. I think he was explaining the hidden Black history across the world. Had nothing to do with us over here. Okay. He was connecting Blackness, right? Because we're all Black people. And he was showing Black people over here that's not talked about, that did some notable things, or who was forgotten about or even extinct. And then he'll show Black people over this part of the world, hey, don't forget about these people. Like, it's called Hidden Colors. So he's revealing what was the Black people across the world and findings, inventions. He's revealing that to to us, but also outside of Black people are non-Black. Like, hey, look, you guys, you can't wipe us out of history. You can't whitewash us. Look what we did over here. We were here. And that's how I got that. I didn't see that as an origin video for Black Americans. I didn't see that as that.
All right. Okay.
Grown man with an opinion. And, you deserve an opinion. Like, you have the right to look at Tariq Nasheed's body of work and disagree, disapprove, and have constructive or destructive criticism. Like that's your right. Nobody can take that away from you, and nobody can't call you bad for being like that, right? That's everybody ain't for everybody. You dig? So you might feel like, hey man, this, the way he moves and operate, I don't respect it. And I'm not saying you can't feel like that, but because there's some people I don't like, and bro, I can't really pinpoint exactly what it is, right? I can't explain it, and justify it. It just makes some people you just don't like. So I get it. But if you're trying to make arguments of things you don't like, I'm sure there's some things you can point to that he's done that you could say, hey man, I don't like that. It's distasteful and like the whole puppet thing. I understand, hey, that's petty. You can say those things. But if you make claims like grifting or he switched up, I'm interested in that. And like you really ain't do a good job of convincing me that of that.
Mm-hmm.
But I can get why you don't like him because he has a he's playful, he's petty. That's not for everybody. That's not for everybody. Everybody don't like Dave Chappelle. You take people like him, people don't. And other folks, everybody don't like when people hear Denzel Washington talk, a lot of people don't like him. They're like, nah, he ain't for me. So like you have that right. But um but just in 2025, like he's very vocal about delineation and let me just try to give you the best example I can think of what it means. Is nothing negative. Like I think we have to delineate. Well, we have to. Think we have to, but we are the only ethnic group that never really did, because every ethnic group pretty much got their own country. So when the colonizers left the Caribbean, when they left Africa, they left those regions to black people. So black people were able to call themselves something without, whatever they want at that time. Right. So when the colonizers left Jamaica, it was Jamaica. I think Jamaica is like named after some um indigenous, name that was like a remix of an indigenous, language. I think Haiti also. I think Nigeria is from the Niger, region or valley, something like that. But because we never were left to ourselves, we were just left in America, like stuck in America. We never were left like isolated like everybody else. We were the only blacks to never delineate. Like we were stuck here with white people. So now we're saying, hey, and we thought Negro was a delineate term. We thought color was too, but color is used in South Africa for like mulattoes and Negroes. They call everybody Negro. They call African Negroes. They call the Caribbean Negroes. Marcus Garvey, UNIA is Negroes. The word Negroes there. So we realized, hey, okay, Negro is not a delineating term like Jamaican or Haitian or Zimbabwean. So we was like, hey, okay, black. Well, we're all black. Obama's the first president, and he's Kenyan. So we're like, okay, first black president, and he's Kenyan. So we're like, okay, black's not it. And then we're African American, but so is Elon Musk, right? So we're like, okay, we're Black American, but so is everybody else who comes to this country that's black, right? And they could just live here for like 5, 6 years, or be second gen, and they're Black American too. So we really didn't have an exclusive term long enough that just fits us, that cannot be all inclusive. Okay, so what I don't deny is that you're black and I'm black. I don't deny you have African origins, and I do too. So we both can be called African American, we both can be called Black American and black. And some might call us both African, but what they can't call both of us is a descendant of slaves, right? In this country. And they can't call white people that either. The Chinese who came over here and did some indentured servitude work, they can't call them that. The Irish, the Italians. So now we feel like we got permanent ethnic identifiers that delineate. And all that really means is it draws the line, say, okay, now we're carving out a name for ourselves. But that doesn't mean we're no longer black and we don't have that don't mean we can't be team black empowerment against, we just feel like, okay, this is, we see what white folks are doing. You guys probably not paying attention, but white folks are very deceitful, and we see what they're doing with this blackness, this whereas it's being all inclusive with black people across the world. But we see that it's going to be stretched to like people like Elon Musk. We see that game coming. So we're like, okay, all right, let's do it now. DAS, descendants of slaves, American descendants of slaves. You could say foundational. You could say, American freedmen. Those terms really just go to one people, because when we were founding this country, it was during slavery. When we were, so all those terms point back to slavery in this country. That's all that means. That doesn't mean we don't we don't want allies from black countries and diaspora. Doesn't mean that. So I think people just take it the wrong way.
All right. So let me say this to that. Why, if the FBA is mobilizing and delineating, as you say, and here's the thing, I truly, because we have two different views on society. I truly don't adhere to the whole FBA separation. I don't view you guys as any different from myself. I don't care about the titles and things of that nature. But I would say this: it would behoove y'all, and it would benefit me and every black person in this country if black people were to put that energy into establishing an actual culture. And I believe I spoke to you on that the last time I was on the phone with you.
Okay.
That's when the shit just went all over the place. And I never got to explain what the hell I was saying. There was a brother on the phone. He said,
it was too many people on the line.
I remember exactly what he said. He said, did you know Shabba Ranks? He said, Shabba Ranks. Because he's saying this because I got a Jamaican background. So he said, did you know Shabba Ranks was influenced by Black American music? And I said, bro, what the fuck are you talking about, bro? I just said black people in America never established an actual culture. You talking about music and samples? That's what you took from that?
Wait, so maybe we need this.
I think it's best I explain it and land my plane properly.
Sure.
On the landing strip.
Before you do, because it's gonna be like so I want you to, but let me just respond to one thing real fast. When you say you don't see yourself different than us, to us that's dangerous, because now you're saying that you are eligible for reparations for descendants of slaves. So for us, we don't take that lightly, and So for you to say that,
well, here's my response to that.
Yeah.
Here's my response to that.
Mm-hmm.
For one, if reparations were ever dispersed and it was for the people who descended from the slavery on this land by actual slave owners, whether it be private citizen or the government, then I can't refute that. It is what it is. But we're going to have this political view based on a concept of reparations or something that we wishful thinking. I mean, let's just be honest. Reparations most likely may never happen. This payout that motherfuckers want because motherfuckers love money so goddamn much may never happen. Let's deal with reality.
Wait, how about
let's deal with reality.
Okay, hold on, brother, because the chat and people in the future, they can view this as like you have a deep-seated hatred against us, kind of like a white supremacist. Hold on, let me explain.
Oh,
Let me explain. You just said the love of, okay. You said the love of, you said the love of money. When, how about, it's not about the money, it's justice for the ancestors. It's just justice. The legacy of slavery is why we are screwed up today in this country. This system of racism never went anywhere. It's still here. Like, we're affected disproportionately of everything that's meaningful in this country between white people and black people. We are far removed from anything positive. You could look at jobs, you can look at college, just anything, home loans, all these things. We are disproportionately affected, 8 times worse, or 8 times less likely to get it over white people. Even the name Jamal, like this research, the name Jamal is got a 50% chance of a callback when a name like Johnny got like a 90% chance of callback. So like we're still being affected by systemic racism. So it didn't go anywhere. Yeah, but we don't. I'm sure a lot of us cringe when you said money. It's like, money is part of it because it's going to help repair. They locked us out of wealth. See, I don't expect you to know our history in this country, but just real quick, white folks locked us out of wealth for 100 years while they chewed up all the wealth. So much so when the Civil Rights was passed and the FHA, Federal Fair Housing Act, when that was passed, brother, we only own 0.5% of the wealth, and white folks own 99 something else percent of the wealth. So like they systematically locked us out of the wealth still now. So yeah, so money was an argument point that they got to share the wealth. They got to redistribute the wealth. It's owed to us for one, but we can never level up on that level at all with the money that lopsided. I mean, that's ridiculous. 99 to have like 50 cents basically. You got $99.50, right? You're supposed to share with me, but you gave me 2 quarters, and we're supposed to at some point be even. And then they draw stats and comparisons between us and them like it's fair. So I wouldn't expect you to understand all that, but to reduce reparative justice to being greedy, again, that is a right-wing extremist conservative talking point. Some supremacist talking point. Right. It is. Like yeah, okay. I don't even know the rebut. I don't know how you rebut that. It's just truth. But go ahead. I don't know how you can rebut truth. But go ahead.
I'm just I want to go on the record and say this about my actual views on things, on life, and just my personality. Period. I don't really run titles and narratives.
You're breaking up again. You are breaking up. You are breaking up.
You hear me? You hear me?
Talk again. Yeah, you're still fading out to robotic stuff.
You hear me now?
Yeah, you better.
All right. I deal with the actual reality of things. So what I mean when I say
wait. So you deal with reality, and 43 million FBA Americans, we deal with what type of reality?
Yeah, man. I mean, sometimes I can tell you passionate about a certain topic. You gotta get a word in, bro.
Wait, you become I respectfully chimed in.
I don't cut you off. You actually cut me off when I'm about to start cooking, and it looked like you make it look like I cut you off, but I never cut you off.
Brother, you might want to get your phone.
When you watch this video, when you go back and watch this video, I don't be cutting you off. You be cutting me off.
Okay, brother, go ahead. Yeah.
All right. When I say I deal with reality,
yeah,
I deal with what's in front of me and what's understood. Black people, we could say that because it sounds good. Like, yo, I want the justice for my predecessor, man. I want the justice for my ancestor. But in our actual behavior, we're not thinking about the man of yesterday, bro.
Really?
And you don't have to agree with that, but that's just how I view things.
Yeah, but so you're not tied to his land.
When I see it, you know what I'm saying? If you want to shit on people, hold on. If you want to,
you asked me a question. You said, "Nah, I'm saying." I said, "No."
Wait. All right. If you want to, if FBA want to shit on people because of a prospective payout that may never ever happen.
Wait, how are we shitting on people?
This is silly.
But you keep saying stuff and you're not explaining. You're just saying stuff. How did it come to we're shitting on people? Explain. Nothing I said to you about reparations or delineations.
How we got to this point? Let me just bring you back. All right, hold on. How we got to this point?
No. I said, just explain. Just explain how we're shitting on people.
I'm explaining, bro.
Okay.
Then you say you don't cut me off. This is crazy, man.
Yeah, well, I need to clarify because you are making charges. I'm like, damn, is he gonna ever prove one of these charges?
Let me explain, brother. I don't talk slow, bro.
Yeah, but you talk incoherent.
You can't say I'm a slow talking nigga. Just let me land the goddamn plane, my nigga.
Yeah, we don't use the N-word. That's kind of outdated, bro. But
all right. Okay. You said, when I said I don't view myself as any different, you said, here's the problem we have with that. That's dangerous because you impeding on what we have coming. And I'm like, bro, hold on. I'm like, bro, I'm just talking about from a community aspect and an identity aspect. You're going to push me out for a prospective payout that may never happen, bro? Do you know how goofy that sounds?
No, I don't.
But I'm not personally bothered. It doesn't rattle me.
I don't know why you would be personally
bothered. But it doesn't bother me. You know what I mean? Okay. It bothers me, but it doesn't bother me. And I can show you if you want to know how it bothers me.
Just help me land your plane, bro. No, I don't. Just land your plane so I can talk. That's all. Go ahead, brother.
No, you go ahead, man. Because every time we talking about something, you change the subject.
I was letting you go just now, but you wanted to go. Look,
no, I finished what I was saying as far as you said. You asked me how you should, and I explained it. So you go ahead, bro.
Yeah. Well, one thing we can't do is talk over each other, right? So now,
right.
You were explaining something, and then you said, in the midst of explaining something that you never really explained, in the midst of that, you said, and if you really want, I can tell you why it affects me. I'm like, no, I don't. You asked a question. I'm saying, no, don't do that. Just stick with the original point. I'm saying, don't tell me how you feel, or not right now, not in the same point you're making. Maybe let me go and then you go in, but don't add that in this one because it's going to be so long that. Okay, so a couple of things you said. I'm actually writing it down. Okay, so you keep saying we're shitting on people. Tariq's talking about Africa, and you haven't proved that. You haven't even attempted to prove that. Okay, and secondly, you said it's bullshit that we don't want justice for our ancestors and our conditions today is bullshit. We just want money. Again, that's a white supremacist. I'm gonna call it what it is. That is a extremist white supremacist talking point. That's some Nick Fuentes, Jared Taylor. Right, but now you're cutting it.
What you call it.
Right, but
no, I'm not calling it. Okay. That's just me just throwing out
sit down. Okay, cool.
Opinion, but I just said call it what you call it.
Yeah, exactly what I was doing, right? Okay, anyway. So, but those are white supremacist talking points. I wouldn't expect you to know white supremacist talking points against FBAs. You're not FBA. I wouldn't expect you to know that. Okay. So anyway, I mean, unless you think you're FBA, then that's a different discussion. Okay. Secondly, you said something about.
Are you trolling when you say that, man? Are you being funny? Are you serious? Man? I just gotta ask you.
Well, it depends on which thing I said. You think I'm trolling? Which thing? Which statement?
When you just said, I don't expect you to because you're not FBA, but if you may be active, were you like? Is that like a joke?
Okay.
That's gotta be a joke. You can't be serious, bro.
All right. So I'm gonna keep going. So you said that, and then you said culture. You said we gotta have one culture. You didn't even finish that thought. I was waiting for you to finish that thought.
This is what I said.
So you're cutting it again.
Let me tell you what I said about the culture.
So you're gonna cut in. Wait. So you're gonna. So remember, you said if I run this back.
I can't stop you and just correct you what I said.
Wait a minute. When I did that, you said I was cutting in.
That's cutting you. That's cutting you off.
Wait a minute. Then how was I cutting you off? All right. Anyway, let me finish my point. God damn. Yo, this guy got. Yo, he really is struggling to like stay focused. All right. So let me say this. I'll be very short, and you can go. I promise you, I'm gonna be like 5 seconds. You didn't say. You kept saying culture, and you didn't really elaborate. So go ahead. That's all I was gonna say.
Okay. I said FBA. Those who claim FBA, it will be much better off for them, me, black people in America, period, if they were to put that energy that they're mobilizing to delineate from everyone else into establishing a culture. That's what I said, bro.
Okay, so what is your definition of culture? Because maybe we got different definitions of culture. Because we got culture, but maybe you got a different definition than us of what culture is. What's your definition of culture that we don't have? That we have to establish?
That I'm saying we're lacking here. That I'm saying Black Americans are lacking, because culture is various things. What am I saying? Black America is lacking?
No, not what we're lacking. You said we don't have culture. Culture has a real definition. So I go by that definition. And by that definition, we have more culture than probably anybody in this world. So I want to know, what is your definition of culture that we don't have? Because you must got your own definition. You obviously got your own definition.
How about this?
Yeah.
If you say your FBA is rich in culture,
yeah,
I wanna put the burden of proof on you.
Sure.
Why don't you prove that to me?
Okay.
Prove to me that FBA is rich in culture. Amongst what you said, everyone in the FBA has the most culture in the world?
Right, yeah, probably in the world.
All right. Prove that to me. And you're a very analytical guy, so this should be very easy for you.
Brother,
go ahead.
You're right. Yeah, this is gonna be very easy for me. Okay.
Right. So, I'm not gonna say nothing. I'm gonna actually just listen, because I do want to hear this.
No, I don't mind you.
Interject at all.
I actually don't mind you chiming in, because I don't lose focus like you do.
I don't want to chime in for this one. I don't want to chime in. I just want to hear you lay it out.
All right. No second. I took some notes. Took some notes for you. I'm very analytical, and I'm very well formatted. I don't like to freestyle and wing it. Okay.
But here's what I am gonna do. As you say these things, I'm gonna write certain things down, and especially if it's contrary to what I have to say, and then I'll rebuke what you say. That's what I'm gonna do. But I'm gonna let you say. I'm gonna let you.
Do you want to? You want to at least try to give us your working definition of culture, so I could understand what you think culture is, or you don't have a definition of what is culture? You are breaking up very badly, brother.
Culture.
You are breaking up very, very, very badly.
I'm gonna just now.
I hear you now.
All right,
let him go.
I'll just say what culture is in a vague manner, no dictionary meaning or nothing.
Oh, okay. This is some stuff you made up. I got it. Go ahead.
That's a mental thing. If you think that's the thing, the outcome of this conversation is not.
Okay.
It's a customs and traditions of a specific group of people.
Brother, you are breaking up very, I should let you know that you are breaking up very badly.
Let me see if this is. Let me hold on one second.
Because I don't want you to say all that, and then I'd be like, brother, I didn't hear you. And then you guys say it all over again. I didn't want to put you in that position.
Okay, I'm just going to give a basic definition of culture. Can you hear me?
A little better, but very badly.
You hear me now? You hear me now?
You sound better now.
All right. Culture, just basic one-on-one definition. The traditions and customs of a specific demographic. Just going to keep it simple.
Okay. All right. So let me give you a working model of the definition culture. You don't mind, do you? Okay.
Yeah,
so
that.
culture.
You're going to tie it all in with the FBA culture, right?
Can I just answer the question? I mean, you're trying to predict my position, which is going to be very tough. Like, I'm not predictable at all. I could guarantee that. I have a poker face. I have a poker face that's so serious because I'm a really good chess player, so you can't really let like when you have a good move coming, you can't let your opponent know, right? I'm a spade player as well. You can't let your opponent know you have a good hand. All right. Anyway, okay. So culture is the shared way of life of a group of people. It includes their values, what they believe is important. It includes their customs. Hold on a second. Let me get him. Let me get him laid down. He's way too excited. Here you go. I don't want to my attention. Okay, you get your cartoons. You're gonna lay down now. Come over here. Your cartoons. Get it. Come over here. Okay, and you get up. Dog, get up. Go. No. You get water later.
You there, brother?
Yeah, hold on one second.
Yeah, that's one word I forgot to say. Values. That's definitely there. But I just wanted to be quick.
Okay. So I got the definition on the screen, and I got some visuals to give you an idea what culture is. Okay. So your vague definition, I agree with some things. It is definitely a shared view, right? Culture is the shared way of life of a group of people. It includes their. We are the group in this subject. Okay, so it is values, what they believe is important. Our belief system over here, we don't mess with pedos. Jamaica has a high tolerance for it. We don't. Okay, that's our culture. We don't believe in harming kids. They're off limits. We have things like that, some values like that, and there's other things that we in the South. We got Southern hospitality. So these are some of the cultures, right? So now customs is how we celebrate, greet, mourn, and worship. Okay, language, which is slang, and we have cultural food, music, dance, and art, and we know we got that. Okay, then you got dress and fashion. We know the entire world dresses like us, and they dance like us, and they talk like us. All right, so let me scroll down. Come on, come on, come on. Okay, social norms and spiritual beliefs, right? Rituals, storytelling, and humor, right? So, yeah, okay, now it's passed down. Culture is passed down through generations and often evolves in response to history, oppression, geography, resistance, and self-expression. So culture actually evolves under those conditions and it's passed down. That means what I done, the generation before me has done it, and before them have done it. Before that, that's culture, right? And our food has definitely been passed down for hundreds of years. Okay, so now the question more specifically is what is Black American culture? Black American culture, aka African American culture, is one of the most influential. Okay, this ain't me. This ain't me. This is AI. We got one of the most it's one of the most influential and resilient cultures in the world. It was born from the legacy of slavery, segregation, migration, and survival, and turned pain, struggle, and spirit into art, innovation, and power because we are a culture, my boy, of innovators. If you need me to explain that what innovation is, I can if you don't know or you're not too sure. But we are our culture is hands down innovation. We are innovators. Okay, so innovators just mean something that's already in existence that was invented by somebody else. We take that, mix it up, and it becomes better, more useful, and more popping, more litty. Okay, by our reintroduction of that same thing that was already invented. We get our hands on it, it's popping. And we make alterations to it. It's not the same thing that was already there. That's being innovative. We are probably the most innovative people in the world. Okay. So let's go on. Let's go on some other things. And again, anytime you want to chime in, just go ahead. I don't mind because I'm reading, so I'm not gonna lose focus.
Right. You have to read stuff to tell me this. That's all good.
Yes, okay, brother. Our culture is. I just said that we probably got more culture than anybody in the world. Yes, brother. It's a lot of stuff.
All right,
Now,
all right, man.
okay, okay.
You done now?
No, I'm not done.
Okay.
Because I mean, brother said, hey, chat. That's what I mean, and that's why that's why sometimes we'll say the word white supremacist, coon, or tether. All right. So to us, that means the people who we're conversing with, there's no there's no sincerity in them to want to actually learn and know something. Like they ask questions just to have the one up or a gotcha, but like there's no.
No, I was legitimately asking if you done because I was
Okay.
gonna start.
No, because you said something about reading. It's like, yeah, brother, our stuff is basically read. It's not something recalled because there's so much stuff that is in our culture. So, for example, music and sound. All right. Matter of fact, I'll do this for you. I will be done. I'll do this for you. I'm gonna go back up and I'm done. Actually, I'm gonna do that for you. I'm actually done. Let me just read it over and I'm done. Okay, so values, stuff we believe in, we find important, customs, the way we celebrate, greet, mourn, and worship, language, slang, food, music, dance, and art, dress, fashion, social norms, spiritual beliefs, rituals, storytelling, and humor is passed down through generations and evolves into it evolves in response to history, oppression, geography, resistance, and get out my way. Resistance and self-expression. And there's one small tiny paragraph again. Black American culture, aka African culture, is one of the most influential and resilient cultures in the world. Again, that's not me, that's AI. It was born from the legacy of slavery, segregation, migration, and survival, and turned pain, struggle, and spirit into art, innovation, and power. That's it. I'm done. Go ahead.
So I'm gonna start. When I have this conversation, I like to start from my stance, and I'm gonna promise I want to not deviate from that stance. You don't have to. You're not saying I'm gonna make you agree with me. I doubt this conversation is gonna end with you agreeing with shit I say, but I'm just gonna be consistent on my stance. So my belief is that culture, the template for culture, starts from the. Why am I on the phone? Whatever, man.
Yeah, you might want to. Wait. No. Okay, shit. No, it just got there because I was sharing. All right. So I never switched it. Hold on, I never switched it. Hold on. Because the whole time, I believe I was sharing. Hold on. Ain't nobody gonna call you anyway. All right. Hold on. Wait. So your name Jay, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So next time you call in, just immediately say, "Hey, switch my name." Like before we even, because normally when you call in, even the first time you called in, I say, "Hey, don't say nothing. Let me, change your number." So this time, I totally forgot, but it wasn't being seen like that because I was sharing something. I guess I'm not sure because I wasn't looking at my computer screen until now. I was in the background, moving around. It's my first time like actually sitting down. But go ahead.
So when we're speaking on culture,
Nah, hold on.
this is my.
Wait. Wait, hold on.
Huh?
I want it to be clear. You're back in the robotic position. I want the voice, your explanation to be clear, so it can get through. So you could try again, but you would just break it up really badly.
Yeah.
Yes, I hear you now.
When we're speaking on culture, I like to use the East as a great template. And when I say the East,
the East,
the East,
the East, right, what?
East,
East Coast.
Yeah, I'm speaking. I'm just speaking. When I'm speaking on culture, I like
to. First of all, brother, you are breaking up for one. Okay. You're not clear.
Right.
And then, brother, try to not be vague. I mean, that's really like disrespectful.
I'm not gonna be vague, man. I'm gonna run it down for you, bro.
Okay. But I'm saying, yeah, I hear you a little better. But hold on, before you go. Okay. When I spoke, I was very clear. I even added clarification to the things I read.
If we have an audio problem, I can't do nothing about it. I'm speaking clear, bro.
I'm not talking about that. Well, you are having some issues. Wait, I don't know. It might be me. Let me ask the chat. Hey, chat, is he, because you might have a point there. Chat, is he breaking up or is it just me? Let me know and I'll change my headset. But brother, what I was saying was, if we're learning, you got to look at me as I'm trying to learn you and you're trying to learn me. Okay, don't say, okay, I got it. So don't say East, because if I'm learning, East what? East Coast? East.
All right. East. But I wasn't going to elaborate.
So can you just explain what the East is before you go further? Because that's going to cause my imagination to think of
the East started with Africa.
Okay.
Middle East, all the way to East Asia.
Okay. Okay, go ahead.
That's what I meant by it.
Okay, yeah, because brother, you just can't say that and not be specific.
Those reasons right there are most culture. They're good backdrop if you want to compare when we're talking about culture, because it has so many traditions and values that have survived the test of time, which made them valuable. So if I'm using that as a template, and I look at society in America, then I say, this is why, in fact, American society has always been susceptible to attack, because we never had a culture. We've never been autonomous. It's not bigger than entertainment and celebrity. It's about our daily lives. Our daily lives. Our collective. What is the community? There's no community. That's one. I just said we've never been autonomous. You said we're the most innovative. I beg to differ. Because if we, God forbid, were to just fall off the earth will still spin. What is our major contribution? It has to go past entertainment, style, music, just things that do not truly matter. Then another thing I'll say, what is our ethics? Our ethics is all over the place. We got one element, one side is pushing a criminal element. Don't snitch. Degenerate behavior, deviancy. Anything righteous, anything good is pretty much shamed. We have a lot of propaganda attacks have attacked us over the years, leading into a lot of misdirection. So when I say that a culture needs to be established, that should be priority, because a lot of things couldn't happen if there was an actual culture in place. If there was an actual culture in place. A real culture, not no gimmick, entertainment, BS. And I got an example. I got a scenario that happened just the other day where I could use as a sort of like a microcosm of what I'm saying right now. I seen a video online the other day. It was a young black dude. Dude looked like he's in his early 30s. He could be in his 20s. He was a pilot. He was a pilot walking through the airport. And the brother had a look that, cliche black culture. He had those, it wasn't cultural dreads. I'm not even sure if they actually constitute as dreads, but his dreads look like, the dreads Quavo has. But he had those type of, the dude looked like a straight Migo. He had grills in his mouth. I don't remember if he was tatted or not.
It probably was Quavo.
And he's walking through the airport, and he was talking about how he catches flack for how he looks. And the reason I had to bring that up, and I said, wow, I will always remember this video right here, because that video is a perfect example of when the fun stops and people are serious. It shows how irrelevant what we deem as black culture really is. Because when people are ready to fly, they're not playing. It's a serious time. And the dude is not playing. He wasn't joking or nothing. He's just walking through the airport, and he's just talking about his daily experience being a young black pilot. And it just goes to show that when people are serious and it's crunch time, the fun stops. The swag is irrelevant. The quote-unquote culture that we think we have is not it. Not to say the man wasn't a skilled pilot. Not to say he wasn't qualified or talented in his field. It just goes to show that when shit is real, this quote-unquote black culture that we think is the end-all, be-all, which is a bunch of confusion in actuality, is not a strong culture as we think. Some will say, how could you say we don't have culture? We have hip-hop. Bro, my mother's older than hip-hop. Your mother's older than hip-hop. You damn near older than hip-hop. What was we doing before hip-hop started? Hip-hop is 50 years old, my God. You understand? Hip-hop is 50 years old. There's people right now who have outlived hip-hop.
So, brother, are you preaching? Because you got to land your plane, bro. You just said a lot. Right now, you're not even like going anywhere. Like your plane just circling around.
I'm not going nowhere.
Like you gotta,
you gonna really play that game, bro?
Yeah, you got to. Yeah,
you gonna play that game, son?
All right. Okay. Relax. Okay. Because you said something about culture, and if we had culture, we wouldn't have the problems we have today. I guess like the negative problem. You said culture will miraculously.
A lot of things that wouldn't happen if.
Okay, brother. When you were talking, I was completely quiet. I was trying to set the standard. Okay. Now. But I seen you were like you were not landing. You were not. There was no sense of direction where you were going. You just kept talking and talking. All right. So, you said we had culture. Yeah, you said we have culture. It would protect us from a lot of things. Well, what's protecting Nigeria from a floating slum? Because you said the East. We'll start from the East. We went from Africa, and somehow their culture is protecting them from malaria, all these senseless third world diseases, and also is protected the early Africans from eating each other, the pygmies, whatever. Like these guys were straight cannibals, and now they got cows pissing on their heads. They're eating mud cakes, and I don't know what culture is that. Then you look at Haiti, like these guys, the gangs are running the country. What part of their culture protected them from that? I don't even get that. But right now, you have Nigeria with that oil scam, where scamming is Nigeria's culture. And also, Nigeria is number 2 in the world. Jamaica's ahead of them. And paternity fraud. I mean, that became the culture. And then you talk about killing. Jamaica's number 1 in killing. You got brain drain. That's part of the culture. And I think Nigeria's number 1. I think Jamaica's like number 4.
You heard me say killing just now? Like, yeah, you heard me say killing?
Why are you during my time? I was quiet.
No. That's a question. Bro. You heard me say killing?
Brother, you said culture protects you from negativity. So let me just finish real fast. I'm never that long like you, and I have a.
When I said protects, I'm talking from outside attack. I love to talk about white supremacy. I'm talking.
All right. Okay, so you'll have a chance. I mean, the insecurity is just crazy, but I get it though. I get it. Because I make sense. I'm actually going somewhere. You were just ranting and talking in circles. All right. So you said culture protects you from something. What our culture is doing right now is protecting us from tethers like you. And that's why we're saying delineate. But back to the East culture. And you said in innovations, brother, we already know the innovations Africa did compared to us, brother. We 43 million collective now, but we were like smaller, like 10 million. Bro, we till date right now, we have more inventions and innovations than the Caribbean and Africa put together. This small group of black people in America has more notable, more world-changing, world-impacting inventions and innovations than the entire Caribbean and Africa put together. Okay, so we can start right there. And then, but this culture force field you were talking about, y'all culture, I don't know where you from, or you Jamaica, whatever, but y'all culture, African culture is tribalisms. What's so popping about that? What's so popping about tribalisms? Nah, if that's culture in your mind, I don't want that. But there is a definition of culture that's not made up by Jay.
All right.
Wait, hold
on. Let's use Africa.
Wait.
You talk about Africa.
Wait, let me just close out right here.
Since we talk about Africa. No, hold on, bro.
So I can't, hold on. Wait, hold on, hold on. I'm going to close out first.
Because you just went all over the place. Haiti, they cannibals, those type of weird shit.
Wait, I'm about to just close out real quick.
Africa. Let's just compare something.
Well, you just can't talk over me just like that, though. Let me just close out in 10 seconds. That's all. 10 seconds. Just 10 seconds. So, cannibalisms, cow pissing on you, flies all around you, eating rice from the Red Cross, scamming, paternity fraud. If you want to call that culture, fine. But brother, there's a working definition of culture that people, tethers like you, got to run from and make up your own definition, and it's still backfired. That's all. Go ahead.
Bro, you could point out famine, poverty, all you want. So let's talk about the actual culture. Or are you going to sit here and tell me that Africa, in Nigeria, you said? Nigeria doesn't have a stronger community than in Black America? That's a question, bro. Huh?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was
talking
to
mute.
Man? I was talking to mute. I was saying, nah, just finish and I'll respond. I don't want to cut in while you're building. Go ahead.
I just asked you a question. I said, you're going to say that Nigeria doesn't have a stronger community than in Black America?
Brother, if you want me to talk, I could talk again for another 5 minutes. But I'm saying, just go ahead.
Just say yes or no, bro.
How about this? I'm going on mute. Finish up.
No, I'm asking you direct questions. Because it's funny. Bro, you could chime in. I'm not telling you to be quiet. It's funny. Even in the comments section.
I like to lead by example. I'm sorry. I like to lead by example and just be quiet as you just build. Go ahead.
No, I asked you a question. My question was, you don't believe that Nigeria has stronger community than Black America? You there, bro?
Brother, you got a few. Go ahead. Listen, just go in.
Oh, I'm asking you a question. Like, why you keep telling me to go ahead?
Because if I talk right now, I'm just going to keep talking. I'm not going to answer the question and
stop.
No,
just say yes or no. I put it in yes or no format.
Brother, I'll pass. Just go ahead. Go in.
Put it in yes or no format, bro.
I'm declining.
Yes or no.
I'm declining. Go ahead, man.
Oh, man. Yo. I'm like, bring somebody else up, man. I'm going to fall back for now, man. The conversation was good, though, man. I'm about to leave the crib right now, but.
All right.
Well, the conversation was good, though, man. But damn, bro, you stuck in your ways, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you calling. I appreciate you.
Done with you, bro.
Hey, and look, yo, the chat answered your question. The chat said no. The chat answered your question.
This chat is a bozo chat. It's an echo chamber.
No, I'm saying you wanted somebody to answer
it. Echo chamber. This ain't no opinions bouncing off each other.
So now he wants to talk. Hey, bro. I'm saying you asked me a question. I was saying go ahead. I'm saying the chat answered for you. So continue. They said no. So continue.
No, man, my cup full for now, man.
That's my point. Like you really don't have much to say. That was my whole point. That's why I'm staying quiet. I want you to go in.
What I'm saying is going over y'all head, man.
Yeah, you're just so deep.
A little too heavy for y'all. Man. We'll keep it up.
I get it.
Shit a little too heavy for you.
I know.
Motherfuckers saying oxtail and scam, dumb shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying real stuff, and shit is just bouncing off. It's not clicking, man. I ain't gonna waste this wisdom on. I ain't gonna just waste my time, bro. You know what I'm saying? But But nah, but all jokes aside though, man. I had a good conversation, unfortunately we have opposite views by far, but it is what it is.
Yeah, man. I just think, one day when you get off Team White Supremacy, Jock, you'll come around and maybe we can do some old black.
I don't know how you I don't know how you connect me with white people, but hey, man, it is what it is, bro.
And then maybe after that we could do some more. Can we all get along type stuff? But people like
I don't know, man. I don't know how you connect me with white people, bro.
Okay, but it's just my lonely opinion. So, but people like you though, I'm gonna be for real.
Yeah. Everyone in your chat, everyone in the chat think I'm Team White Supremacy.
Yeah, but hold on. I mean, okay.
That's insane,
do you want to talk or you don't want to talk? Now I go to talk. You told me to go. I'm talking.
I'm out though. I'm out. No, I'm out for real though. I'm out.
I appreciate you though, man.
All right, man. Hold it down.
Peace. Yes, sir. There you go. You cartoon. Okay. I appreciate you. I didn't finish what I appreciate from you. I appreciate you giving me clips, giving more content to do more premieres tomorrow and the rest of the week to the weekend. Thank you for the content. Okay, so man, like y'all gotta know. There's a pattern I do, and I might give y'all the secret sauce. Nah, I won't. When I say yeah, I'm talking about tethers and white supremacists and trolls, not my family. Yo, he had that Makoko spirit, yo. That's that Makoko spirit. That's my new word, Makoko. What is Makoko? Anybody know what Makoko is? Who's been doing their international research? What is Makoko? He had that Makoko spirit. Yeah, he kept saying we, definitely. I meant to check him on that, huh? Okay, go ahead, get it. So I meant to check him on that when he said it a couple times, but he said so much it just wasn't important than other crazy stuff he said to address. But he's saying we. I'm gonna tell you why he said we, because at one point he's including himself with us. But then he will somehow alienate himself. I don't know what's going on. Or he would speak on our behalf, right? Which is on our behalf, which is like insane. Like he calls himself a Black American. I'm like, fine, that's what you are. But then he's acting like he's like in tune with Black culture because he's around some Black folks who might be Black American FBA. But I'm like, dude, it's almost like talking to like a woman. When a woman when she has like some friends, some male friends, she'll think she know how men behave over me. I'm like, man, you do know I had male friends my entire life. All right, well, I had friends too. Yeah, but they always viewed you as a woman though, or a girl. So like they're not going to disclose certain things to me that they will you. That's just a fact. So he knows more FBA culture and talking points and barbershop points with me. It's like, brother, okay. I mean, if that's how you're gonna feel, yeah, that's how you want to feel. Go ahead. But listen.
This isn't necessarily the way how African Americans prioritize blackness isn't necessarily the same way in which an immigrant would prioritize their blackness. So you know how African Americans would say, oh, Black writer, Black creator, Black artist, Black lawyer, Black doctor, Black woman in STEM. No, when we come to this country, it's immigrant or nationality. maybe our careers next, and then whatever else comes after that. So immigrant, Jamaican, marketer, whatever else comes after that.
So we have immigrant, nationality, their career, and the word black is not in there at all. Okay. So that's why I personally get confused when they pick and choose when they're black. When I say they, I'm speaking about foreign blacks, foreign immigrants. I can't say black because some of them don't believe they're black. Okay, so, but what they're saying is they don't value blackness because it's clear that they're black. That was never, in question because they come from countries where majority of them are black. Yeah, so they don't have like a black power type of movement, okay? Because more than one reason, but she made it very clear. One more time.
Dr. Black would prioritize their blackness. Americans prioritize blackness isn't necessarily the same way in which an immigrant would prioritize their blackness. So, you know how African Americans will say, oh, black writer, black creator, black artist, black lawyer, black doctor, black woman in STEM? No, when we come to this country, it's immigrant or nationality, maybe our careers next, and then whatever else comes after.
So in other words, I see that as they look at immigration as their blackness. So their immigration status is equivalent to what we say. It means that much more. It means the same as much importance to them as black to us. Okay, if she held that high.
After that, so immigrant, Jamaican, marketer, whatever else comes after that.
So when we say we're black, they will say, according to her, we say we black. They say they're immigrant. I will look at that as delineation on their part.
Issue that Jamaican, marketer, whatever else comes after that. The issue that you're having is we don't see ourselves as one of you.
Oh, that sounds like you're being divisive. But they say we started this. Explain.
And the reason that we don't see ourselves as one of you is not because of blackness.
Okay. So they don't look at blackness at all as a sense of identity, immigrant, Caribbean, or nationality, Jamaican, African, whatever. The career and the word black ain't there at all. Okay, got it. Look at the next. So she represents the Caribbean. All right, so let's go to Africa. How do they view black? Is it any different?
The Haitian.
Let me say that again. I am not black, okay? Hear me out. Growing up, my mom absolutely hated when we refer to ourselves as black.
Growing up in Nigeria, her mom hated when they called themselves black. So when we say Obama wasn't black back in 2004, I mean, we weren't really wrong.
So like, you're not black, you're Nigerian, you're African. I feel like the term someone is black obviously comes from the slave era, but it also just describes displaced people that don't know their heritage. So I feel like people that do know their heritage, to try and curb racism in some way, people are going to be racist. Ignorance is ignorance. You can't. But just to curb racism in a small way, stop referring to yourself as black. You know, if you know where you're from, you're raised in a certain household. You know, Somalians are Somalians, Ethiopians are Ethiopians, Nigerians are Nigerians. Like, if you know where you're from, why refer to yourself as a color? I feel like when we say black, it just sounds so harsh and like, this is black. I'm brown. You know, I'm Nigerian at the end of the day. Like, that's who I am. That's where I come from. Let me say that again. So I understand when you say black British or black American because you don't know where you're from. You're just a person of color in the city that you're in. obviously you still be treated the way you're treated, but just like, I feel like it just, when I hear someone refer to me as black, it just sounds so harsh, especially coming from a certain demographic. I think if you have the privilege of knowing where you're from, you shouldn't refer to yourself as a color, because it further, pushes the racism narrative and further.
Here we go. All right, let's get it in.
Okay, so we got it from the Caribbean. We got it from the continent. I mean, I don't know what else you want me to say. Right now. Okay. Like Jay-Z said, what more can I say? What more can I say?
You have said that you resent the idea of being called an African American, that
Yes.
you are a Black American.
Yes.
Explain.
I think that when they call Black people who were born and raised for generations in this country, if you accept the handle of African American, that says that you don't accept being an American American. You don't accept being born in Chicago or New York or Detroit or wherever you were born. For generations, your family has been here, built this country too. Sweat and tears and all that, fought in every war, okay? So this is my country here. So I don't want to be called African American. I'm an American American. My people have died and done everything for this country.
I'm always going to be known as a Black American. I can't call myself an African American, because when they want to separate us, then they say we are African American. But remember this: when I'm competing in the Olympics, I didn't compete on an African American Olympic team. I competed on an American Olympic team. So don't separate me when you want to separate me.
I am not an African American. I'm an American. I am a Black American. I am definitely Black. And yes, my ancestors come from Africa. How long does a bloodline have to live in one land before they are considered a pure species of that land? Meaning, how long did my people have to be in America to say, hey, no, we're American, compared to some people who are English American, who are Irish American, who are German American from their ancestors, but they get to call themselves American. There's nothing wrong with being African American, but a true African American is someone that is from Africa and moved here, either first generation or second generation, and has a tie to that country that I do not have. One of the first census in Virginia that allowed for Black people to have a name was somebody from my family. So that means they were there long before.
There's a mixture. We are a mixture. What makes us foundational Black Americans, that we're mixed with the indigenous and we're mixed with the Africans who were brought over during the slave trade. And then we had an ethnogenesis. So we became a whole new ethnic group. And that ethnic group was the foundation of the United States, making our ethnic group indigenous to the United States, because we're the first ethnic group of what would become the United States, who built it. We built this thing from scratch. So that makes us indigenous. And unlike the Europeans who came from somewhere else, we were created here. Our ethnogenesis is here. But the thing
70% quote unquote African, 30% white, European, right?
That's salute. That's fine.
You can't tell me that I'm just African though. See,
but you're picking it too easy.
No, I'm saying I'm both. I'm both.
My girl.
Like when you talk about when you think about the fact that slave women did not have control over their own bodies.
You're right.
Right?
Yes.
You know that you are going to, that's why we run the gamut all the way from as light as me to really dark skin. We run the gamut. That's why. So it's people want us to kind of, I don't understand the need of somebody needing me to be African. I'm an amalgamation. That's what it means to be American. That's what it means to be ADOS in this country. We are an amalgamation of different things. We are unique. So yeah, some of our ancestors were brought over here, chattel slavery. That's true. Some of them intermarried. Some of them some of them come from women who were the victims of. All of that is our history. That's what we're saying.
Yeah, man, which I think, hey, yo, they try. All right, so my microphone, I know it's janky. Okay, so microphone, I know it's janky because I don't have my studio microphone set, my headset. But anyway, as you can see, the dude Jay, that was a conversation from yesterday, right? Yesterday evening, and they got this hatred for us is unbelievable. So a couple of y'all kept saying, why does he call him so? Why he kept saying we? As you can see, why did Jay keep saying we and our? Because when I spoke to Jay earlier, he's Jamaican, but he resents that. He doesn't like me to call him Jamaican, and he acknowledged that he's a second gen or first gen. I don't know how that should even go. His parents were foreigners, and they had him. Was he first gen or second? I don't know. But anyway, he's anchored. All right, I know that. But he doesn't like for me to call him Jamaican at all. He don't want me to ask him about Jamaica. He doesn't see himself as Jamaican. He said he's American, and I got him to be more specific. He said Black American. So I was like, well, you don't think you're foundational, right? And he got offended. And then I think he realized he's not, but I think he got offended once I made that distinction, that delineation, like, hey, you can say you're Black American all you want, but you don't believe you're Black American like us, right? So what do you mean? Do you believe you're foundational? And I believe he said no. You know, as you can see, he's all over the place. He don't have like a coherent thought. It's real clear and it's always vague and ambiguous. But then he said, we don't have culture. So that's why I asked him, see, I don't just go into arguing because you'll waste your time. I need to know, what do you consider culture, right? And I knew whatever definition he gave, it was going to be personal. So these tethers, they literally, just like white supremacists, what they do is they come up with definitions of good things where the definition is pretty much based on discrimination, right? They make sure that their definition leave us out. So they're like very careful on how they define culture. They're very careful on how they define discrimination and racism, and they make sure their definition leaves us out or includes us, right? Some weird shit, but that's the hatred that's in them. That they'll sit around and define something to exclude us. So I let him go on, and he gave a vague definition. So I gave him the real working definition, and then I explained how we got more culture than most people in the world, if not everybody. So now it's back on him. He talks about the East, and I'm like, the East? What is the East? So again, he's being vague again. Like, dude, what? So I finally got him to admit what the East was because he didn't want to say Africa. But once he said Africa, which I know he's going to do, he's going to name a primitive place like that and say culture. Like, dude, we're not living in the year 300, bro, where we're just hunting gatherers. Like, bro, we're in a modernized world, man. Okay, so and we're like westernized. Most people are westernized. He's talking about the East. So you mean the culture of tribalism, the culture and everything I named? Nothing I said was joking or being facetious. Everything I said was their reality in Africa. And don't forget, when they say Africa, they act like Africa is one pan-African, one monolith. No, Africa is divided. The countries are divided, and within the countries, they're divided. Like, so if they have a culture, it's definitely division. So how dare you say we're divisive when your culture is divisive? Y'all been practicing that for not just generations, but thousands of years. You've been practicing this division amongst yourselves. They're very tribal. They're very hungry. So do they have a culture of starvation? Africa is hungry and it's behind the ball. That's a fact. It's behind the ball. Like, it's not doing well. And so the countries that's trying to do better, they're still light years from like the Western world. they're doing the comparison is themselves. Oh, this country is doing good. What's the comparison? Another African country. It's like, yeah, but compare it to another, first world country. Is it doing good? And the answer is no. They're light years behind. So I don't understand the African culture. And this is a Jamaican guy who's talking about African culture. So I didn't even ask him, hey, what's your culture? Because he was saying he's not Jamaican anymore. He's American. And more specifically, he's a Black American. That's why he's saying our and we. And that's why I said, brother, you don't think you're foundational. You didn't probably hear that part. I probably didn't play that part. I was like, you don't think you're foundational. Matter of fact, let me play it. Let me go to the part where I talked about his ethnicity. This would make more sense. So you can start saying we and our. Carmega, the equivalents, we're not.
Who asked me and when they asked?
Yeah, I think you're just being a little complex. Like that's what
They get down was not like Tariq Nasheed.
Okay, so watch this. Watch this. So I just played earlier, Floyd Mayweather, Raven Simone. So I'm gonna go backwards a little bit because I want to catch you up to where I'm at.
Yeah.
Because I think you took what I said and went somewhere else. You're not listening to what I'm saying. I'm saying the concept of that we are a unique black people, unique black people in this country from other black people across the world, overseas, and also that come into this country. We're not just simply black like them. We're not simply African American like them. We're not simply Black American like them. We have different origins, and our origins stem from in the last, let's say 400 years, our origins go to this country. You guys and everybody else's origins who would come here or not even come here, your origins are somewhere else overseas. So I was saying that concept is light years before Tariq Nasheed. So what I find interesting is that when people have an issue with the concept, they mentioned Tariq Nasheed, and I'm like, hey, you might want to just separate that and just say you're against him for whatever reason. But whatever the reason is, don't attach the concept to it. The concept was way light years before Tariq Nasheed. Okay, that's all I'm saying.
We just got different opinions and different stances on that. That's okay.
Okay, but do you understand what I'm saying? I'm saying that the concept.
I understand what you said perfectly, bro.
Okay, cool. Because you have when Barack Obama first ran for president, right? When he first announced his candidacy, right? And for 2000, that might be too far up. Let me go back. I was saying that when you say you're American, there we go. And I was asked. Here we go.
Many other
kind of like when I like play chess or I'm about to do something, but only when I'm doing the activity. I'll drink stimulation things. I'm probably gonna drink coffee. So when he came on, I didn't want to be contentious. Didn't want to be belligerent. I talked about coffee. I talked about his views on different just political and his hobbies. Just a warming invitation where we ain't got to. That's why the energy was cool. Like we weren't screaming at each other, calling each other names, because I created that environment purposely. I created a soft, friendly environment so we can have a friendly discussion, even though I'm going to disagree with his tether babble. Okay. First thing is, how you feel about Donald Trump? See, I'm just asking. Yay or nay? Okay. Okay, let go. Stop doing that. What type of sports are you into? See,
bro, I'm American. Bro.
Okay, so that's it right there. I said, brother, what type of sports you into? Because don't say soccer, you know what I mean? Talk about American sports. So I'm like joking a little bit because he's Jamaican and they love soccer. So I wanted to talk about American sports. So this is where it starts right here. Question, are you into, what type of sports are you into? American sports. I don't want to hear about no damn soccer.
Bro, I'm American, bro.
Huh?
I'm American, man. I don't know what soccer you're talking about.
So, all right. So you're fully. All right, so there you go. So he says American, but let me respond to hey, don't delete him, Lord Moore. Let me because I want to respond to his goofy shit. Let me respond to that. Don't time him out. Let the tether go. All right. So let me respond. He said Jamaicans have a higher GDP in America versus African Americans. Okay. Yes. Okay, we know the story. Okay. So Lord, don't delete that. Let me respond to that. So this is what he's doing, chat. Immigrants, when they come over here, they are recognized as immigrants, and they tend to do better than Americans, period. That means even people who call themselves American, like Jamaican tethers, like Jay and Kwame. So when he's quoting immigrant stats, that's not talking about himself, because when they are born here, they are given citizenship. So they are introduced to our GDP. So people like Jay, tethers like Jay and Kwame, their income affects our GDP negatively. There they go. Okay. So immigrants, small immigrant groups, they do better than all Americans because they are treated like a special class. That's just a fact. They get all these benefits set aside. But once they have children in this country and they become citizens, then all of that favoritism, that treating them with soft gloves, that's out the door. So immigrants, yes, they don't go to jail as much as Americans, as everybody. They have better opportunities, right? They're first in line for housing and loans. They get all of these favors for like a head start. But once they have kids, their kids are not privy to those same favors, those gifts. Okay. So these tethers are now introduced into the American. They become assimilated as American. So when they commit a crime, that crime does not go to the immigration crime stat. It goes to the American crime stat. Okay. So these are first gen, second gens, and they do something and they're black. They're now considered Black American, African American. So when these bums out here do nothing good, that is coupled into our GDP. When these guys commit crimes, that's coupled into Black crime, not Jamaican crime, because once they have a baby and become 14th Amendment citizens, that stat is no longer Caribbean or immigration. It's now Black American. Okay. When they have HIV and baby mothers and all type of unwed stuff they bring from their failed homelands, that's coupled into our statistics. So a tether like him would not understand that. I don't expect him to. I believe a lot of them guys are just inferior mentally. Okay, so that's why they don't get it, right? Whatever they're eating at their homeland, flies, whatever, is killing their brain cells. So that is the real. So there is no way to differentiate tethers who have foreign parents. What they do in this country is it's impossible to differentiate FBAs in stats and tethers that are born here. There's no way to differentiate. So when he says Black American GDP, he's a filthy tether. There's no such thing as an FBA GDP. All Blacks from all over the world are included. Okay, there's no such thing as FBA on FBA crime. Crime, all the tethers are included. So that's why I wanted you to let that comment stay there so people can read it as I cook them. All right, these guys are not on my level at all in anything, right? And definitely not education and enlightenment and insight. Okay, so that's what he can't deal with. So he was invited to this podcast many times, this live stream many times, and he has never seemed smart. He's the same guy to say this piss poor African nation developed an electric car. Matter of fact, let me roll the tape. How about I roll the tape? Let me show you how smart this guy is, Kwame. Okay, let's roll the tape. How about we roll the tape on how smart Kwame is? Okay. Look how good his research is. Here he goes. I gotta not play it. I'm gonna get flagged. I'll play this song. Okay. So now look at this guy's research. This is Kwame. Give me one country out of the million that's in that Pan-African bullshit. Give me one country that produced something like Mitsubishi, equivalent to Mitsubishi today. Give us one thing, one company that's equivalent to Mitsubishi. Go ahead.
Okay. Burkina Faso just started producing their own cars in Africa. They just started producing their own electric cars.
Oh my god! And wait, first of all, what country is this, by the way? That got this car?
Burkina Faso.
Oh, okay, hold on. Let me look this shit up because you be lying. Hold on, 1 second. One second. I know you. That boy will lie if you don't fact check. Hold on.
Okay, it's called Either Way.
So what is your claim that you're saying about this car company?
That Ibrahim Traore started a electric car company.
Would you consider yourself a good researcher?
I'd say I'm a decent researcher.
Okay. So, chat. I'm sharing my screen.
The topic of Ibrahim Traore, the young military leader and transitional president of Burkina Faso.
Allegedly launching or supporting a car manufacturing initiative has been circulating online, but it contains a mix of truth, exaggeration, and myth, especially on social media. Let's break it down carefully. Who is Ibrahim Traore? Born in 1988, Traore became president of Burkina Faso in September 2022 after leading a military coup. He is known for his Pan-Africanist rhetoric, strong anti-imperialist stance, and pushing for economic independence from France and the West. He has received strong support from youth movements and anti-colonial activists, including online across Africa.
Online warrior.
The claim: Ibrahim Traore launches a Burkinabe car brand. The truth: 1. There is a Burkinabe car manufacturing initiative called Limo, short for Limousine Ouaga, which has been promoted in Burkina Faso. The company is not owned or founded by Traore, but he and his government have shown interest in promoting local industry and manufacturing, including automotive projects.
You're done.
The cars are assembled locally, using a combination of imported and local parts, often in collaboration with engineers trained abroad, especially in Tunisia or Germany.
You're done.
There are also local innovation initiatives, including prototypes of electric vehicles and utility cars, tied to Burkina Faso's goal of economic self-sufficiency. 2. Ibrahim Traore supports national industries, and the promotion of a homegrown auto industry fits with his Pan-Africanist and sovereignty-focused agenda.
Bullshit.
He has highlighted national innovation, particularly among youth and engineers, which fuels the narrative of Burkina builds its own cars.
Here we go.
The myths and exaggerations. One myth: Burkina Faso is mass-producing cars under Traore's leadership. False. There is no large-scale car manufacturing plant in Burkina Faso currently producing vehicles at scale like Toyota, Hyundai, or even Nigeria's Innoson Motors. Most vehicles are assembled in small numbers, more as symbolic or pilot projects than a true car industry.
Oh my God.
2. Myth: Ibrahim Traore personally created a car company.
Myth.
False.
Bullshit.
He did not invent or personally launch a car brand. The narrative is mostly symbolic, used to emphasize his focus on national pride, anti-colonialism, and African potential. 3. Social media amplification. TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube videos often exaggerate claims like Burkina builds its own Tesla, or Traore's electric car industry will rival the West. These are clickbait and often misinformation. Images and videos used to support the claim are often misattributed from other African or Asian projects.
Oh my God.
Conclusion: claim, true, or myth. Explanation against jihadist groups. Burkina Faso has a car project. True. Small local assembly initiatives exist. Ibrahim Traore founded a car brand. Myth: he supports industry, but did not launch it. Traore's government promotes industrial self-reliance. In line with his Pan-African and sovereignty agenda. Burkina Faso is mass-producing vehicles. Myth: no large-scale auto manufacturing currently.
This guy's watching TikTok and goddamn YouTube and Instagram, and that's showing like prototypes of your Asian cars, and he think it's some yo, listen, these folks are known for scamming, bro.
I was misinformed. I was misinformed. I was misinformed. I was misinformed. but can I ask you a question though?
Sure.
What in the conception of FBA, what has they produced so far?
Okay, before you ask that question, let me make sure my man Black Manosphere is there. You still there, Black Manosphere?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Didn't I say every time he get in trouble, he'll mention something else?
I literally admitted. I said I was misinformed.
No,
I said I was misinformed.
I get it. But hold on. So what is your claim that you're saying about this car company?
That Ibrahim Traore started electric car company.
Okay, so that is the idiot Kwame. Yeah, good job. Okay, go there. Yeah, that is the idiot Kwame, right? So he thinks he get a second chance. He sat there and act like a third world primitive country produced electric cars to compete with Tesla. Like, this is a nut. So you see, I called him out right away. I said, what? And I set him up lovely. I said, bro, do you think you're a great researcher? He said, yes. So then I showed it. Then he showed his research. I showed it was BS. Then he came back and said, well, I was misinformed. Bro, brother, we still think you're misinformed. So everything you say in the chat, we still think you're misinformed because you're a misinformed guy. You provide misinformation. If you're misinformed, then your information is misinformation. Okay, that's why we don't take you serious. Now, time dropped for 10 minutes. So, bro, look at the time. Look at the time. About 12, 17, 18, you'll be able to say something back. But we can't let you say random stuff. He said, where's the FBA car manufacturers? Yeah, a lot of things about these tethers, and my family, listen to me carefully. A lot of tethers, they keep looking at us like we're a separate country in a country. Like, they look at us like we have a FBA president, FBA Congress. Brother, America is our country, my boy. So the manufacturer companies that's here, those are our manufacturer companies, you fool. So they keep trying to separate us from America. So don't fall for that. Like, these tethers, they fled from their homeland, so they try to make us depart from ours. That's not going to work. Okay, so now there's another tether named American Dream who called in, and he wanted to challenge me for my debating belt, I guess you can say. Listen to this guy. He is just as dumb as Kwame. Okay. So, like, these guys keep trying to challenge me on FBA history, and I keep letting them know, hey, bro, it's not going to go well for you, man. Like, you don't even know your own history better than me. What makes you think you know FBA history better than me? It's just sad delusion.
Right, but here's the difficulty I'm having understanding this, right? In my estimation, slavery is what fueled the economy of the South.
Right.
And industrialization.
And North.
No, slavery was very limited in the North.
So listen to his argument. He tried to switch it later, but it doesn't work. I'm a great debater. I listen. I know your argument. He said slavery funded the South. I said, and the North. He said no. So the chat, he's gonna try to lie and try to switch it up. One more time. Let's run that back, Turbo. Listen to his argument.
Right. And industrialization, in my estimation, slavery is what fueled the economy of the South.
You heard him? He said slavery is what fueled the economy in the South. Right.
And industrialization.
And North.
No.
So he said no.
Slavery was very limited in the North. 90%. No, slavery was.
So he went from what the labor force, what economy is fueled, and then he tried to compare where it's at. Brother, make up your mind. What are we debating? Are we debating where slavery is at or what economy is fueled? This is how dumb these tethers are.
Very limited in the North.
Brother, let me help you out. All right, so I'm gonna time them out. American Dream, you don't mind if I time you out for 10 minutes, right? Okay, so here's the thing. Who would dare argue where the labor force was? Where's the enslaved labor force? Where we know it was in the South. That's not your argument. You said you said slavery fueled the Southern economy. I added in the North. I said also the North. You said I was wrong. the North actually funded slavery in the South.
So you heard me? I said the North actually funded slavery in the South. That's what I said. Look what this Tether say next.
So let me help you out. The South directly ran the plantation and they directly benefited. But the North banking, their banks were funded by that. So the North would have ideas.
So listen to my argument. I said the North will have ideas.
Or like an invention, and they'll sell it to the South.
So I said the North will have ideas, they will invent things, and they will sell it to the South. Listen to what's next.
To help the slavery be more successful.
So they would sell the South tools to help slavery be more successful in the South. So clearly, the labor force in the South, like the guy, didn't he try to act like we're dumb enough to believe the North had as much enslaved labor as the South? Just stupid.
So
you don't fall for that. What they would do also, that they'll give you two arguments that oppose from each other, or it'd be like apples and oranges, and they'll try to debate them concurrently, where you have you all confused. Not me. I know what you said, my boy. You said enslaved labor fueled the South economy, and I said, nah, it helped out the North too. And then I explained how the North will invent things, sell it to the South, where the South can produce more slave labor so the North can benefit from it. Listen.
I don't believe that. That's not true.
And everything I just said, he said is not true. This is the Tether telling us what our history is and what it isn't. He said it's not true.
Okay, brother.
I think what you're saying is not true.
Okay.
So he said, I think what you're saying is not true. Am I belligerent? Am I cussing him out? No. I'm very calm and cordial.
So, brother, look,
I think the North was opposed to slavery.
So he said, I think the North was opposed to slavery. So therefore, when I said the North also, what I said enslaved labor also fueled the North economy, he said is wrong. And I said, hey man, the North created inventions where they would sell it to the South and help the South be more successful in slavery. He said that's wrong. Okay. So now let's get to the facts. So I want to get to right over, I want to get to the right over here somewhere, if y'all don't mind. Because I definitely put pie in his face. Make no mistake about that. Okay.
Was opposed to slavery.
Profiting from the Southern slave economy, Wall Street and New York's banks grew rich by financing.
You heard that? Wall Street and New York's banks grew rich by financing. What were they financing, Tether American Dream? They were financing Southern cotton plantations. So when the Tether said the economy was fueled, the Southern economy was solely fueled or just fueled on enslaved labor. What I did was I said, and the North. I wasn't even debating the Tether. I was just adding in the other factors. He said, no. I said, yes, the banks in New York, they funded slavery and they got their cut. Oh, no, I think you're lying. No, also the North invented things and they sold it to the Southern plantations to help enslaved labor become more profitable. No, you're lying. The North was against enslavement. Okay, look what we're reading. Wall Street and New York's banks grew rich by financing Southern cotton plantations. Check. This is an L. Okay? This is nothing more than an L. All right, let me show you what type of L he's working with. He has to hold this. All right, I'm gonna come back to this, by the way. Let me just finish cooking this guy. So already he lost. Wall Street and New York's banks grew rich by financing. So they grew rich. They were not rich prior. They grew rich by financing Southern cotton plantations.
So they financed, like I said, Southern cotton plantations, slave insurance policies, shipping networks for sugar, cotton, tobacco, and rum. I said
So at this point, he should just be like, okay, you're right. And he should just go ahead and finish his point. Remember, he was making a separate point. Whatever it was, he was saying, hey, enslaved labor, feel the South economy and the North. And he could have finished where he was going, which was nowhere, just tether babble, time wasting. But he wanted to argue this fact, this simple fact in history. And I destroyed him. And watch this.
Rice is added rum in place of rice. Shipping and insurance industries boomed by transporting enslaved people and slave-produced goods. New York was responsible while the South was successful, like I said. New York merchants sold tools, like I said.
So now here's what I said earlier. New York merchants sold tools, textiles, and food to southern plantations, profiting from slavery without directly owning slaves. So who the hell said, the North had as much? No, it's not about who is forcing work, forcing labor. It's about who all is benefiting, who all is in on it. Okay, and this is a L, my boy. That's just what it is. It's okay. It's okay. You have to hold the L like your ancestors right here, some African booty scratcher. You got to hold the L like him. Okay, this is a complete wash. These tethers are not on my level at all. As you see, I embarrassed Jay. You watched that. I showed you Kwame. I killed him on electric cars. And now the tether American Dream. All of them. One by one by one by one. All right. So now let's get back to Jay. Right? Let's get back to Jay. Remember, we're going over Jay saying he's American, he's not Jamaican. Okay, so I want to bring you back to the context. Watch this.
You fully,
bro, I'm American, bro.
huh?
Okay, so he said, bro, I'm American. I said, huh? Listen.
I'm American, man. I don't know.
I'm American, man. And look at the tether name in the chat that I timed out for 10 minutes. His name is American Dream. Hey, yo, chat, listen. They don't give a damn about Jamaica. I'm telling you, I'm not joking. I'm not being insensitive. They don't. Nigerians, when they come over here, they do want to see Nigeria get better. I'm going to say Sudanese people and Jamaicans, number one and number two, they are good with this thing here. They don't care if their homelands blew up, sunk underwater. They're not going to miss a beat. When they come over here, they're not going back. Okay, this is, in their mind, this is their new country. They are American, and they're trying to assimilate and fit in where they can fit in. And because they look black, they know they can't be white Americans, so they try to sneak into Black America, right? And we say, oh, not so fast. So now let peace, FBA salute. So now let me respond to Kwame before I had timed him out. Okay. He said, no, but the Nigerian immigrants GDP is higher. He said Jamaicans. Okay. Also, see, this is where I'm gonna cook Myron at. You can't compare a small minority class that is the elite to their country. So these folks don't represent Jamaica. They don't or the body of Jamaica. They don't represent the people in Jamaica as far as education and employment. And these small number of Nigerians don't represent Nigerian people and what they do in the country. These are literally their elite people. Just like when I took you back to the ACS, when we went over to Liberia in the mid 1800s, early 1800s, we were the elites. So the native that was over there, they couldn't compete with us. That's why once we went over there, we ran the country. And the elitist class went to Liberia. So any elitist class go anywhere, they're going to far supersede the populace, because the populace, they got their elite, they got their moderate, and they got their dummies. So you can't bring a dream team to every place in the world and dominate and act like that dream team represents the skill set of all of Black Americans. That's a lie. You got people like me that play nothing like Magic Johnson. So just imagine that. Just imagine America is toting around their dream team and acting like every American plays like these folks. That's what Tether do with the Nigerians. They try to act like the Nigerians represent all of Nigeria. No, they don't. They are a dream team of Nigerians to come over here. Yes, what do you want? Okay, we just get it. Yeah, so they have their dream team come over here to take advantage of, the resources and whatever, and then they act like they compare to us. And by the way, these Nigerians, they come over here already skilled and educated. So they didn't come to America getting educated and getting skilled. They came over here wealthy and highly educated and highly wealthy, brother. This is their elite class. And I'm a segue to bring how that's affecting Nigeria, why Nigeria can never level up as a result of the small minorities coming over here, that they're elitists, and how Jamaica can never level up because of their elitist class coming over here. How these people, by coming over here, they crash their country. So while he's bragging about these small group of Nigerians and Jamaicans making a little bit of money in America, what have they actually produced in America? Where's their Nigerian, cities like Black Wall Street? Still what they're doing today in America. They have nowhere near accomplished what we accomplished, not even remotely close. And our districts were undermined. Highways ran through and just literally just burnt down, robbed, and looted. So without that, it would be nothing to talk about. But what are they doing with all this success? Absolutely nothing. They're just sitting around, living amongst white folks, doing nothing. Okay, so nothing to brag about. There's nothing coming out from this. We produce hella shit in our society. Of millionaire districts, they have nothing remotely close. W. Du Bois had wrote a book about Black Wall Street in Durham, North Carolina. He wrote a whole book. He was so impressed. Okay, so anyway, you can't compare a small elite group to a whole bunch of random Americans. You dig? That's stupid. All right, just like some of us can go to Jamaica and we're clearly doing better than everybody there, right? I could work at Walmart in America and I'm making more money than everybody in Jamaica. By the way, Jamaica's GDP is $6,200. If I'm a Walmart worker, I made that in 3 months. I made that in like the first quarter, basically. That's their GDP for the whole year, $6,200. In Sudan, their GDP is $1,000. That means they made $800 to $1,000 per year. So we're not even elite. If we go to Jamaica and Sudan, we are levels above everybody there. And we're not even elite. So just imagine our elites go over there. Like we will make those countries a superpower. Anyway, so bad faith arguments, they don't work. You get destroyed by people like me who's better researchers, better informed, and I'm just a better orator. And I have that swag that I could get the message out way better than you. All right, so listen to the Tethers. Says he's not Jamaican, he's American, and more specifically, he's going to say Black American.
Sports. I don't worry about no damn soccer.
Bro, I'm American, bro.
Hey, Kwame, I gotta time you out again, brother, because you're just talking about random stuff. Yeah, talk about the topic. So I'm gonna give you 10 minutes again, and I'm gonna have to give you 30 minutes in a second, brother.
Huh?
I'm American, man. I don't know what soccer talking about.
All right, so you heard him. I said, huh, he says American. See, I was distracted by Kwame comment. Let me go back. So I'm gonna ask him, what are you? He's gonna say he's American. I'm gonna say, huh? He's gonna say, I'm American.
I'm American, man. I don't know what soccer talking about.
So, all right. Yeah. So you're fully assimilated.
Bro, there's no assimilation. You do so funny, man.
No, that's what it actually is. Like, because you have to.
Assimilation.
Okay.
This is what I know, man.
Right. What I mean
I'm
is
not an immigrant.
What I
know, man.
Right. What I mean
I'm
is
not an immigrant. This is what I know, man.
Right. What I mean
I'm
is
not an immigrant.
What I mean is at some point you dropped, either your dad did or some point somebody dropped the culture that you came from and assimilated to American culture, is what I'm saying.
I get what you're saying, but I'm not.
Hey, stop. Stop.
I get what you're saying.
Okay. Now, so when you say you're American, I'm guessing you really frequent Jamaican stores like that or listen to the music?
Yeah, I fuck with all. Yeah.
I don't. So that's what I'm trying to say. Like, okay, in my mind, an American wouldn't do that. We would rock with American stuff. Yeah.
Well, you gotta understand. That's my. You don't look at it as so, because many of the FBA cats, they tend to mock it like it's a bad thing, but
no, but you gotta ask me though.
It's an actual advantage.
Yeah, but you gotta ask.
It's an actual advantage to be exposed to more than one culture.
Yeah, but you gotta ask me though. Oh my God, this guy gonna just keep talking, bro.
Ask you what?
Okay. There's 43 million FBAs, bro, or however you think they're out there. Right. So you say,
all right, I'll just zero in on you then. Okay.
Right. There's a lot of FBAs I disagree with.
To answer your question though, just been exposed to both sides. It's just like if my people was Latino, I would know how to speak Spanish and all.
Yeah, but you have a lot of Hispanics that do not, like Mexicans and Puerto Ricans. A lot of them do not speak Spanish at all, not one lick. So yeah, I met a bunch. So anyway, so I was saying that when you say you're American, and I was asking this and that, and you kind of like felt offended, like, hey, FBAs always, or it really ain't FBAs, it's white people too. It's so, it's the okay. We would be called the nativist Americans, white and black, the ones that was here from the 1800s, right? Anyway, so I'm just trying to point out, when you say you're American, that's why I asked you about like the diff, because you will say, hey, I'll ask you about Jamaica, and you say, hey,
that's
I'm
the new
American.
term I gave him. I gave him a cocoa. I'll explain in a second.
So now I'm like, well, okay, then you're American. If you're American like me, that means you really don't, you're American. You focus just on America primarily, and you barely listen to any other foreign music.
Well,
yeah.
Just to throw back what you just said at me.
I know you said plenty, but bro, I could guarantee you 99% of us don't. All right.
No, I can guarantee. Where are you from, bro?
Okay, so I don't know why we've been arguing this. Like, he's trying to act like FBAs listen to like foreign music, and he's like saying specifically Jamaican music. And I'm just saying, bro, like, listen, we listen to some hits that's on the radio, but we're not like buying albums and looking for like underground Jamaican artists. Like, we're really not. Like, whatever comes on the radio, if it's a hit, we'll play it. But I'm sure we didn't know who Burna Boy was before he became Burna Boy. Okay? He came on the radar when they made a hit. Tyler, whatever her name is, that filthy Tether. We didn't know who she was until she made a hit, right? That just it. So like, we're not in the crates looking for foreign music at all. We're just not. Most of us, we listen to American music, we watch American sports, we play American games. Everything about us is like 99% American. Like, we really don't engage in like foreign activities. We really just don't. And it's not that they're bad. We really just don't. We're into our own bubble. We do American things most of the time. Okay.
So
we talked in circles for a while.
Example, you from Tri-State probably don't know who he is. That's your per mega. You can't say what the damn beat. Like, what the hell is he saying? Would you call yourself, you said you're American, would you call yourself foundational Black American, or?
So this is where I'm getting to now, right? So I'm like, okay, all right, is he trying to cosplay my face? So now I'm going to ask the question you guys are waiting for. You say you're Black American, you're American. Do you believe you're foundational Black American?
Would you call yourself, you said you're American, would you call yourself foundational Black American, or what type of Black American would you call yourself?
And that's cool. Hold on 1 second.
Yeah.
1 second, bro.
Yeah.
I just call myself Black American, bro.
Okay.
I'll just keep it very simple. Now,
he said, I call myself Black American. I keep it very simple. I timed out American Dream for another 30 minutes, 1.8 thousand seconds. Could he just be talking? Again, when they talk about us or talk to us, they separate us from our country, like they did their own. They'll sit there and say, we founded a country, you guys founded the street. So okay. So Tone Talk said this. Tone Talk said, in order for these tethers and white supremacists to be correct, they have to deny our history. So they got to deny the Black Wall Street, the slave legacy. They got to deny the HOC, the ADC, Stimulus Act, GI Bill. They got to deny the 1862 Homestead Act. They got to deny all of this stuff so that they can be correct. This is what they all, Myron Gaines, Nate Fuentes, Larry Elder, Candace Owens, they all do this. They got to ignore our history so that they got to erase our history so that they can be correct. Now listen to this tether explain how he's Black American.
Yeah.
1 second, bro.
Yeah.
I just call myself Black American, bro. Okay. I'll just keep it very simple. Now, there are people who will ask me, for example, if I was talking to a Black person.
Like yourself, you're Black. You mean FBA?
Right. If I was talking to a Black person, any Black person.
Yeah, but that's confusing. Yeah, that's confusing because it could be Nigerian, Ethiopian. Okay, I got it. Yeah. Got it.
Let's say a quote unquote FBA.
Yeah,
and he knows, because one thing I don't know how much you travel through this country, but in my experience, I can't necessarily dissect other accents like that, but when a New York cat come in the room, I could just step to him. I could be like, "Yo, where you from, son?" And it's just, I just know he's from that side. Like, it's very distinct. I don't know. I'd be like, "Bro, you from down south?" And they'll tell me like, "No, I'm from Detroit or I'm from Chicago, blah blah." But so I could be having a conversation with someone. They will know I'm from New York, but sometimes they want to go deeper. They'll be like, "Bro, where you from?"
Yeah, because you have an accent, bro. You have an accent. It's not a New York accent.
They probably picked up on like an accent, so they're like, "Yo, like you from like the islands?" So I'm like, "Yeah, my people Jamaican." You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so different layers to how I will answer that question depending on who asked me and when they asked.
Yeah, I think you're just being a little complex. Like that's what I'm trying to say. Like in foundational Black American culture, and that's why we say foundational Black American, because there are other Blacks their origins didn't start like ours, but we're all Black Americans, so we're just uniquely different. We don't have
And let me clear something.
Yeah.
I have zero problem with
I don't know about that.
Americans.
I don't know about that.
Hold on. Let me just say my piece.
Yeah.
I have zero problem with them having something and being prideful. I would never hate on that. Just period. It's just not in me. What I don't like is that where it's coming from. It's not coming from a good place. First off, it came from a bullshit nigga.
Okay,
but
now
then it's just not coming from a.
Okay, so who's the BS dude is coming from? I don't understand.
Street machine, bro. Come on, man.
Okay.
Cut the shit.
So when you say, "Well, I want it for the record, my boy," I don't want to. I kind of.
Okay.
Yeah, just for the record. Now, when you say it's coming from, what's coming from a BS? Like when you say it's coming from, what's coming from Tariq Nasheed?
Okay. But all right, what you want me? You just asked me two questions. You want me to tell you how is it negative, or what is it about Tariq Nasheed
I never
that makes it
say
negative? Which one?
no. See, I asked you one question. I asked nothing about Tariq. I said you said it's coming from a BS ninja, right? I'm saying what is the it's? What's the it's that's coming from him? What's the it's?
Okay, it's a separation that's built off just being condescending, disrespectful, separating blacks, and just throwing a wrench into the game. You know what I'm saying? Like shit like that.
No, I don't, because that didn't come from him, by the way. ADOS was before Tariq Nasheed.
It sure it was.
Okay, and Cobra was before ADOS, right?
Yeah, but even those groups, they get down was not like Tariq Nasheed.
Okay, so watch this. Watch this. So I just played earlier. Floyd Mayweather, Raven Simone, and Smokey Robinson, all saying the same thing. As far as separating themselves by name. Like I don't want to be called this because I'm lumped up to other blacks. I'm a unique black man in this world that has roots to this country and nothing else. My origins. So Raven Simone, Smokey Robinson, and Floyd Mayweather all said that, right? And apart. Okay.
It's funny. It's funny you mentioned Raven Simone.
Yeah.
Tariq Nasheed. When I spoke to you the other day, you asked me how long did I know Tariq Nasheed. I believe I told you I first heard of him, I think in 2018.
Okay.
Or something like that. It was around that time.
Yeah.
Around the time, this is significant. Around the time I first came in the introduction of this man, he was coming at Raven Simone. Ain't the irony in that you bring up Raven Simone? He was coming at her and saying I think she was talking to Oprah, and she was like, "I'm not African American. I'm American." And Tariq got at her. And Tariq, Tariq,
Listen to
that. And I find it real funny because grifters change their hat. He rebranded. The Tariq of today would applaud Raven Simone, but the Tariq back then was going at him. Ain't that some shit?
I mean that's what you're saying. You got to source up on that. But look, okay, so hold on. Let me respond.
Why don't you just YouTube?
Let me just respond. Okay, let me just respond real fast to everything. Okay, what I established earlier, because you said it's coming from that BS ninja, and I said, what's the it's? And you said the ideology of this separation thing. Okay, so what I did was I dispelled that. So I'm beyond Tariq Nasheed. You're stuck there. I'm saying the idea, the concept that he adopted was before him. I mentioned ADOS, and then I mentioned NCOBRA. Okay, so I mentioned two organizations that had that idea.
Right. And I responded to you. I said those groups, their entire get down is completely different from Tariq Nasheed. ADOS had an actual political movement. They actually were trying to achieve something politically with an actual legitimate argument.
Okay, well, hold on.
You understand?
No, I'm lost. Okay, so I'm gonna go backwards a little bit because I want to catch you up to where I'm at. Yeah. Because I think you took what I said and went somewhere else. You're not listening what I'm saying. I'm saying the concept of that we are a unique black people, unique black people in this country from other black people across the world, overseas, and also that come into this country. We're not just simply black like them. We're not simply African American like them. We're not simply Black American like them. We have different origins, and our origins stem from in the last, let's say, 400 years. Our origins go to this country. You guys and everybody else's origins who would come here, or not even come here. Your origins are somewhere else overseas. So I was saying that concept is light years before Tariq Nasheed. So what I find interesting is that when people have an issue with the concept, they mentioned Tariq Nasheed, and I'm like, hey, you might want to just separate that and just say you're against him for whatever reason. But whatever the reason is, don't attach the concept to it. The concept was way light years before Tariq Nasheed. Okay, that's all I'm saying.
All right, bro, we just got different opinions and different stances on that. That's okay.
Okay, but do you understand what I'm saying? I'm saying that the concept.
I understand what you said perfectly, bro.
Okay, cool. Because you have when Barack Obama first ran for president, right? When he first announced his candidacy, right? And for 2004, many, when I say many, what we call now foundational Black Americans were saying he's not one of us to white people. And when white people say, hey, you're going to have your first Black president, we were like, hey, he's not Black like us. Like we didn't have a term like ADOS or FBA, but we just were saying he wasn't Black like us. So of course we would confuse people because he looks Black, right? Like us. He looks like us.
I'm not just right.
Yeah. But you're breaking up. But you are breaking up. You're breaking up really badly.
Yeah.
Talk again.
You hear me now?
Yeah, you sound a little better. I'll let you know. Go ahead.
I said I gotta stop you right there.
Yeah, sure.
Because that's just not true. Black.
Okay, so that was kind of getting annoying at some point. Like for like non-FBAs to tell us our talking points, when our talking points, like here's the fact. Here's the fact. If there is, let's just go with the fact. The fact is, Puerto Ricans may be cool with Dominicans, they may be cool with another type of Spanish person, right? But they're going to find themselves with themselves more often, okay? Jamaicans might have other West Indian friends, but they're going to find themselves amongst themselves more often. FBAs, we're going to have Latino friends, Jamaican friends, but we're going to find ourselves amongst ourselves more often as a collective. Okay. So I can't really tell you about Puerto Rican inner circle talking points. Even though I got some Jamaican friends, I can't tell you what goes in there in inner circles, right? And the inner circle is not limited to just who's in New York or New Jersey. So to tell us what we were talking about is like disrespectful. It's just a weak, undermining tether move. What we talk about, I was like, dude, yeah, you claim you're Black American, but this just happened. Like you just came here. I've been Black American through generations, so many generations. Like, dude, I know our talking points. I know our talking points. And when Obama came on the scene, we were questioning his Blackness because he was being propped up as the first Black president, and potentially because he was still running. And we're like, wait a minute, how is he getting all the support when Jesse Jackson went to become president, and he was like laughed at simply because he's Black, like he's Black American. How dare a Black American run for president? He would never rule over a white American. Like that was kind of like what was going on, like the vibes. So when Barack Obama got the green light from white society, a lot of us was like, wait a minute, how come he's not getting pushback? So then we started to find out he's from Kenya. And once we knew he was not Black like us, that was it. He's not Black like us. He's from Kenya. He's a Black man from Kenya. He's not a Black man, DOS. And by the way, that terminology was being used. It was being used. DOS was being used way back in 2004, okay, to clearly explain how he's not one of us. So we were not saying he's not one of us as somebody from African descent. We were saying he's not one of us culturally wise and DOS, a descendant of a slave. Those were the main talking points about Obama in the 2000s. Now, how would Jay know, right? My whole life, all I ever known was FBA barbershops. What does Jay know about that? When I was young, getting haircuts, FBA barbershops. That's all we know. So we know our talking points. It don't matter if I'm in Mississippi, Texas, or New Jersey. The barbershop talking points are, they don't really change too much. So then Jay mixed that up. He mixed up our questioning his blackness as to whether we're gonna claim him, like voting for him. I said, bro, we're Democrats. So Obama could have been green like an alien. We would have voted for him. We vote for Democrats. So just because we voted for him doesn't mean like we thought he was black like us. Like you're mixing two different things, which they normally do. They don't focus because they're not trying to learn. They're not trying to agree to disagree. They're just trying to undermine 100% of the time. They are agents of white supremacy. They have one mission and is not to listen. That's a bar. Okay, they have one mission and is not to listen. They have one mission and is not to listen. They are here to spread tether babble and just perpetually undermine us and our talking points and misrepresent them, and then be bold enough to speak on behalf of us, which is the ultimate disrespect. So anyway, that's where we were going with that. So let me just backtrack a little bit. I debunk their talking points on the fly. So when they speak, listen to them speak. They're going to often separate us from our country, America. They're going to pretend like we have our own code. Like they're going to pretend FBA is a country, right? Instead of an ethnic group. That's what they got to do. They got to pretend that America accomplishments, we're not tied to them. America has accomplishments, and then you have Black society. Like that's what they want to pretend. And even with that, none of those African countries or the African islands, right? Since they want to be African so bad, I'm gonna call them African. None of those African islands or African countries has built something greater than the Black Wall Street districts. And if you want to go to all of what we produced over here, the George Washington Carver's, Booker T. Washington, the list goes on and on. You don't have an African equivalent, whether they're from Jamaica, the islands, or the continent itself. You don't. Like I already did research on African inventions and innovations, and we are a small group at that time. And you could combine all those countries in the island and the continent, and this small group in America still have produced more innovations and more inventions than all of them combined. So for them to sit here and keep ragging and, hey, what do you guys do? We did a lot. And unlike you, it was taken from us, burned, and we were forced into another version of slavery. But again, they have to dismiss all of that. They got to act like none of that. They got to act like Black Wall Street just disappeared. Or they got to act like it never happened. They got to act like that's Tulsa, Oklahoma. They got to act like Durham, North Carolina. They got to act like Rosewood just never happened. They got to act like systemic racism never happened. All right. And they got to act like white folks did not get all this assistance from the American government, all of their existence in the country. Right? They got to act like generational wealth is something earned by white supremacists and white society. They got to act like it wasn't gifted to them. Okay? And they got to act like we were not locked out of generational wealth and civil liberties for 100 years. They got to pretend that never happened to make these bad faith comparisons between an ethnic group to countries. And this is why they got to make us a country, because they're comparing us to a whole country. And they know, like, hey, man, we're part of a whole country. So let's compare country to country. They say, no, we're going to compare a minority group of people to a whole country. Their whole country, they have president, they have government. They decide their fate. Nobody decides their fate. Black faces, Black natives, Black folks, period, in those countries decide what they're going to export, import, produce, how they're going to redistribute the money. They decide everything. We don't decide that. We don't decide that over here at all. So that is the lopsided argument they're trying to produce that only works in Tether Babel societies. In real formal settings, that'll never fly. Okay, so they try to like pull one over on us and act like these are real legitimate arguments when I know they're garbage, and most intellectuals know they're garbage. They'll just be more lightly when they address them. So, for example, if they go to like, let's say, what's his name? So, Mark Lamont Hill. If they go there, he's going to be like gloves on, be more nice, debunking it. But other folks will be more, strong. Yeah. Okay. No, not that one. Yeah. So other folks will be more gloves off. Okay, go. Yeah. So most of their arguments are bad faith arguments. They're lopsided, and they just don't make sense. All right. They just don't make sense. But I got something for you. Okay, so we're going to talk about, I told you I'll come back to brain drain. So we're going to come back to brain drain real fast, right? I made a new video the other day. Well, it's not really new, it's additional information because I'm a researcher. So I keep, when new information comes about, I document it. So what I did was, you'll see the question I asked. I asked a simple question. I said, give me 5 examples of brain drain, right? That's a serious problem to their home regions. I never guided the research. I never said, give me brain drain in Jamaica or Nigeria. I just said, give me 5 examples of the best examples of brain drain and how it affects their home region. That's all, something like that. But you'll see, because I'm going to show the question. And on that chart, on that list, is Jamaica and is Nigeria, all right? And you'll see where they're numbered. There's other countries too. But watch this.
Sure. Here are 5 severe real-world examples of brain drain that turned into...
Okay, so you see the question? Let me go back. How do I go back? Okay, let me go back. So you'll see the question. I want it to be pure transparent. Okay, you're going to see the question in a second. So you can see I don't try to steer the research. I don't try to direct it.
Sure. Here are 5 severe real-world examples.
So I asked them to show me 5 severe real-world examples of brain drain. And okay. So, and this is their response. But you'll see my question later on.
The brain drain that turned into brain gain for wealthier nations, and how that has seriously hurt the sending. Sure, here are 5 severe real-world examples of brain drain that turned into brain gain for wealthier nations, and how that has seriously hurt the sending countries in areas like economy, infrastructure, public health, and employment.
Okay, so let me just briefly explain. So when the Tether talks about Black immigrants coming from their homelands to America in small numbers, and they're doing better than FBAs collectively. I don't know how you make the argument when we don't have no stats just for ourselves. Tethers are included into our stats. Okay, so anyway, let's go with that. So these folks are allegedly doing so great over here, but it's a sacrifice. They are sacrificing their homelands by being great in America. They're making their homelands permanent failures. Listen.
1. Nigeria, massive loss of medical professionals. What's happening?
So this is as a result of Nigerians coming to the UK, Canada, United States. Look what they're doing to
Nigeria.
Thousands of Nigerian doctors, nurses, and pharmacists have immigrated to the US, UK, and Canada. In 2023 alone, over 10,000 Nigerian trained nurses registered to work in the UK. Impact on Nigeria. Severe healthcare worker shortage. One doctor per 5,000 to 10,000 people in some areas.
Did y'all hear that? Excuse me. Who heard that? One doctor to about 10,000 patients. Excuse me. Hello? One doctor. They're bragging about a few Nigerians in this country doing so-called good, but built absolutely nothing here, right? And nothing for their homeland. But as a result, look how their country is suffering. One doctor per 10,000 patients. Like one doctor couldn't even handle 20 patients in America. They got one doctor per 10,000 patients in Nigeria. 10,000. We can't even fathom 10,000 patients. One doctor. So he'll never see a fraction of those patients. So they're just going to suffer with their ailment. Okay? So while they brag about how great they're doing in America, look what they sacrifice in their country.
Collapse of public hospitals in rural and urban areas.
So their hospitals just fail. There's no Nigerian hospitals as a result.
Medical tourism increases. Elites leave the country for treatment, draining foreign currency.
You heard that? Their elites leave the country. This is not the body of the people. So their smartest and more wealthiest leave the country. So they're trying to compare all of 43 million of us, our successful, our average, and our, let's say crackheads, collectively to a selected elitist class coming from Nigeria. Like, this is a stupid comparison that only a white supremacist or a Tether would come up with.
Training investment loss. Many doctors trained at public universities for free.
Okay, you see that? I can't let that go. So America saves money, right? Because they're not wasting money training these folks coming over here. They're coming over here already trained and ready to go. And look at that. Their training is free. We got to pay for our stuff, and we don't have any money. So when they talk about, hey man, when they compare, which is, again, it's a dumb, unfair apples and oranges comparison. They're comparing FBAs who got to spend hella bread to attend Rutgers and Harvard, who can't afford it, right? To a country that education is free. Free education, expensive education. Who's going to be more educated? Free coffee versus expensive coffee. Who's going to be more caffeinated? Like, this is stupid Tether babble.
Employment among less mobile, lower skilled healthcare workers, lab techs, assistants left behind.
Okay, so unemployment among less mobile, lower skilled healthcare workers, lab techs, and assistants. These are left behind. So only the elite gets to leave the country. So that elitist group leaves the country, leaving the less skilled, less trained people in the country. So when they are served by their own professionals, it's the worst of the worst. It's the worst of the highly educated.
Number 2, India tech talent excellence.
No, I'm going to skip India. I'm going to get to Jamaica. Here we go. So Jamaica is number 4. All right. So Nigeria's number 1. Jamaica's number 4 on the worst examples of brain drain in the world.
Disrupted. Overproduction of nurses has led to nurse unemployment in country, as not all can immigrate.
All right. So now we're on Jamaica right now.
Well, 4, Jamaica, teachers and healthcare workers fleeing.
The word fleeing is there, by the way. I don't want y'all to skip that. So they act like when we say fleeing, it's a negative, disrespectful term. The word fleeing is in the research. That's embarrassing. That's highly embarrassing. The word fleeing, that they make it seem like we use it in a
disrespectful way is in the research. And it's only for them. This word fleeing is not for any other brain draining group on this top 5 list. But for Jamaica, the word fleeing is there. I was hollering when I seen that.
What's happening? A brain drain of teachers, nurses, and police officers to the UK, Canada, and the US. Recruitment drives by foreign countries worsen the issue.
Worsen the issue.
Impact on Jamaica. Education system suffers. School closures, overcrowding, poor performance.
Okay, so their schools are closing, overcrowding, and poor performances in Jamaica. But they want to brag about a handful who flee to the United States. Okay.
Healthcare understaffed, especially in remote areas. Weakened social stability. Fewer police and educators, higher crime, poorer outcomes.
Uh-oh. So when they talk about these stats for Black America, yeah, you're involved in that. Okay. So, these Jamaicans working, not the ones who are American. The immigrants work because they are the elitist class, but your offspring, they're not elite. And they become involved in crime like every other American. Okay, and they lower the GDP like every other American. So, no, that won't work over here.
Rising cost of public services due to constant retraining of replacements. Number 5, Zimbabwe.
Okay, I'm going to spray out with Zimbabwe. I want to go to the bottom line.
Countries. Area, negative impact. Healthcare, shortages, poor service, increased mortality. Education, low quality, teacher to student imbalance.
So in other words, when they leave their country, and the word fleeing is there, so I got to use it. When they flee their country and go everywhere else, they literally sacrifice their country. Their country becomes a legitimate poop island, poop continent, okay? Poop, P-O-O-P, poop emoji. So this is why they don't look back and they say they're American, okay? They sacrifice their country. The hell with the rest of them. They can go to hell, they can burn. I'm good. And they come over here with that me personality. And then got the nerve to point at Tariq Nasheed and point at other FBAs to blame. It's like, no, you guys sacrificed your homeland. We're not, our elitists, listen, chat, our elitists can leave. They got the money to go to these different foreign places. They don't. They stay in America. So while y'all helping America be greater, you're helping your homeland fail and become more unsuccessful. So in other words, you got to watch your mouth and hold the L. Who you think you're talking to? That's why I be saying, they got the nerve to believe they know my country better than me when they might not know their country better than me. Okay, so one doctor to 10,000 patients, but they want to tell you how great they do in America. I don't see the impact. If you're doing so great in America, how come we don't see the impact? Because when we were doing great before, we were sabotaged and locked out, red line, and all these other things in place to keep us behind the ball. You see the impact. The inventions, the innovators, the millionaires, the districts of millionaires. Like America had no choice but to witness the greatness. But these so-called phantom Black immigrants that's supposed to be doing better than us, where do we see it at? Like, where's the impact? These are just individual success stories. They're not coming together, building nothing together. Okay, and as they're doing that, their homeland is going down the drain. I mean, I think that's sad. They are sacrificing their entire country. That's their family. That's their people. They're letting them burn so they can have individual medium lifestyle, mediocrity, mediocre lifestyle in America. These guys aren't living fat. These guys sacrificing their country to have a mediocre lifestyle in America. That's motherland abandonment. That is tantamount to mutiny, right? And they got nerve to say, hey, let's be Pan-Africanists. No, sir. You're not even pan-country. You want to be Pan-African? No, the first chance you guys get, you flee. And you want to trick us to take your spot in your country with that corrupt government. Not doing it. Not doing it. So they try to pull slick words that you cherry pick stats, but once I invite them all on this podcast, they all get cooked. I'm well aware if they're cherry picking. If I'm not, I'm a better researcher, so I just Google it on the spot and cook them on the spot, like I did with the electric car. I had no idea this lie about a primitive African country having an electric car that's supposed to compete with Tesla. I looked it up on the fly. As he's arguing and beating his chest, I'm just reading and reading. I said, wait a minute. This ain't what he said. That after he got cooked, he gonna bow down to his king and say, oh yeah, I was misinformed. Yes, you were, my son. Yes, you were. Now go sit down. Now go sit down. You're not ready. Okay, so with that, make sure you guys like the video. Make sure you guys, if you haven't subscribed and do that, I will be back. I'm going to change the subject. It's going to be more about Math Hoffa and what happened to his shop. This is going to interest you. This is going to be entertaining. Some of y'all don't give a damn, but the question is, how did he go from on top of the world to in the bottom of hell? Was it that FBA pressure? That's the question. Did he lose contacts because he chose Fat Joe over FBA? That is a real legitimate question. Did he fail? Because right after that FBA stuff, and he chose to side with Fat Joe, he doubled down, everything just fell apart. So when I come back on the live in about an hour or two, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, my time, about an hour or two, we're gonna play Math Hoffa on words. And I'm gonna play his ops. I'm gonna play his ops, how they felt about him, how they knew that he was gonna inevitably fail. They saying he didn't stand on nothing. He didn't even stand on earth. This dude was floating. This dude was standing on gravity, no oxygen. He was standing on the lack of shit. He was in space. Right? He was in space. He wasn't standing on anything. His close friends said he never stood on anything. He fled from every relationship, every challenging obstacle. He fled. Okay, so tune in for that. Math Hoffa later. I'm gonna do a little. I'm gonna create a post, right, real fast to remind y'all. All right, y'all know I appreciate y'all. Just make sure I like the video so the video can get out. So a couple new people came through. The setup shop and a couple other folks came through because the likes that y'all doing is working. People start to see the channel. And here, I'm not afraid to cook a tether on the fly. So, until later, peace. Like the video and come through if you're available later on. Tethers, white supremacists, and goofies. I gotta hold